soon as he turns it, she did.
What?
Yeah.
Is it just you by yourself?
Yeah. Welcome to the Singer Show. Oh, there he is.
Oh, I thought I was talking the entire time. I've been talking to Mr. TV9. I said hello to everyone, and apparently I didn't put myself in.
No. It's hilarious. Don't ever do that, bro.
Good morning, Irish.
I don't come
Morning,
up
ma'am.
I don't come up with enough stuff to keep this ball rolling.
Well, yeah. As soon as I deblouse with all my stuff here and get my coffee going. Good morning, Brian Morlock. 'Cause, you can't show anything scurry on the interwebs that'll shut you down. So
I don't know. There's a lot more liberals buying guns nowadays than there was before.
oh, suck it to me.
It's kind of like
Still can't put them
I'm
on.
glad that they're finally getting around to buying it. Am I thinking they're going to shoot themselves in the foot and become a statistic? Do I think as soon as this passes, they'll go right back to their gun control ways and get rid of their scary firearms they just bought? Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Well, I did break protocol yesterday, or quarantine. We went out. People are still panic buying. There was a nurse who was on her phone ordering more ammo from Bass Pro Shops through Alexa.
Oh, there you go.
So
people in California
Brian says,
doing that, good fucking luck. First of all, 10-day waiting period. Yeah. Second of all, you can only buy certain types of things, and there's the ammo stuff too. So, people in California, you're screwed, but you voted for that shit. So, sorry to interrupt.
So, morning to Brian. Brian says at work, waiting for welder to finish so I can begin work. Bet you get a deal on those after this for nothing. Yep, of course you'll get them for nothing. Because they have no training.
Yeah.
Hunter, good morning, sir or ma'am.
Just like my friend. But he's not really a gun control. I mean, I had sold to him before, one of my own personal ones. So, I mean, I knew he liked it. He just doesn't put in the time or effort to actually learn real shit.
Yeah, I have some buddies that are that way too, and I know you're watching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of that, you owe me a box of pretzel Pop-Tarts, you bitch. You know who you are. Take the last two, just because you are on the whiskey bender on St. Patrick's Day. Yes, I'm still angry about that prick. Sorry if that's my rant for this morning.
No, it's all right. We all get one.
It's nothing like going to retrieve a Pop-Tart, and somebody has used your last two Pop-Tarts and neglected to tell you that they used your last two Pop-Tarts. So anyways, I was actually talking about that. I was walked over here this morning, making an espresso. Good morning to everybody. I'm Irish USMC Vet, and we were waiting on Stinger.
Waiting on me? What are you waiting on? I'm right here.
Right. Well, this is the 4 minutes that I was talking to nobody because apparently I didn't log myself in.
Yeah.
Anybody have any sit reps that they want to throw down?
So the National Guard's been called in Arizona.
Oh.
Yeah. Supposedly they're only helping out with the grocery stores, though. I guess stocking shelves or making sure you only buy the limited number of however many toilet paper rolls you can have. I don't know. But I think Arizona's the first one to call the National Guard in. So, yay.
All right. Well, that's looking very glam, very fucking horrible. whenever it's breaking down to the fact that you have to have national guard come in. What does that say about your population? The populace.
Well, in the city itself, yeah, not the greatest.
I mean, the feds came into Chicago to try to take care of the gun control issue, and that didn't work out very well. So yeah, be ready for the shit show that's ensuing. I'm currently doing not exactly at this moment. I'm currently doing a home security assessment set of videos that be posted up probably daily, so that everyone can go ahead and get some just generalized knowledge on what they need to get done before it gets worse. So stay tuned for that. And if you bear with me, I'm just trying to get everything ready.
No, you're fine. I want to read some comments. Delaware Patriot
Okay,
says,
please.
Delaware Patriot says, we know one thing for sure.
Morning.
Most everyone has guns, food, and ammo now. It makes things interesting. The more guns out there, yeah, maybe. But unfortunately, I think a lot of them don't know how to use it. I mean, they've spent all their time being, we need gun control, common sense. And now they're running to buy their first ever firearm, not knowing how, which end the bullet comes out. So hopefully they'll take advantage of the indoor ranges at some of these places that are still open as well. The ones in California, as I said, I don't think they're even going to get a gun because they're shutting that down. I mean, you can't even go out in California now, first of all. Second of all, there's a 10-day waiting period. And then there's only certain firearms you can buy. And the ones that you'd actually want are all banned. Brian, so the curfew laws for minors isn't usually enforced till summer, but our counties are putting them into effect now, and mainstream media says Georgia is under curfew, so misleading. They're trying not to call it martial law. That's basically my opinion.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to break in there. Tennessee has stopped sales of guns in the state of Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, I saw a video from, what's his name? He reminds me of Gomer Pyle. I forget his name. He did a video on that. He's from Tennessee.
His last name is Baggett.
No, that's... Oh, yeah.
Bob Saget?
No. Johnny B, I think is his channel. I don't know. I'd have to look it up if you're interested. SHTF Hunter, have y'all noticed running on guns or ammo in your area? Yeah. What was it, Friday before? I mean, this has gotten crazy since last Friday, so in a week it's gotten even crazier. But a week ago today, I went to the gun store to pick up something I've been wanting to pick up for a very long time for my birthday, and it was busy. It was real busy. we have that week ago. We still had ammo. I don't know about the ammo now, but I don't have to care because I reload and I cast my own lead projectile, so I good. The only thing I kind of need is primers, but I got like 2,000 or 3,000 of those, so I should probably be fine. TB's checking in, Mr. Tommy Boy 9. Delaware Patriot says yes, record sales on both guns and ammos here in DE. Well, I don't doubt it. I think it's countrywide. Brian, there are hardly any left around here in Atlanta. Thanks for checking in on that. Brian, hello to Darrell Patriot. Love your channel. Brian, the curfew for minors 17 under is midnight till 6. Not much of a curfew. Yeah, a 6-hour curfew. Happy belated birthday from Brian to me, I guess. Thank you very much. And Mr. Tommy Boy 9, damn, no guns. I guess I'll sharpen my katana. I doubt you don't already have your shit. See, that's the thing. It's not affecting people who already own firearms. It's affecting those who didn't own firearms and because of reasons. And now they think, oh, maybe I should get a firearm. Well, good fucking luck. Man, Mr. Tommy Boy 9 could be the Lone Ranger with as much silver he got. Anyway. Silver is still 12 something an ounce this morning. Let's see. I mean, good luck finding it at that price, but for right now, $14.86 an ounce for gold, $12.59 an ounce for silver. I think the cheapest you can find it for right now is right around $14 an ounce, and that's if you're buying like 100 ounces at a time. And then there's one, I think it's $15 an ounce, or close to $15 an ounce if you're buying 10 ounces at a time.
All right. So, real quick, good morning to everyone. Sorry, I've been out making protein shake.
Yeah.
So, since it's getting closer to what looks like may become a larger shitstorm, I would like to go ahead and urge everyone to start carrying your daily protection. Strap it on to you, walk around the house with it, get used to it, rubbing your neck, get used to wearing it, and carrying it around and functioning with anything that you use or plan on using for self-protection. So you can figure out where the hot spots are now, and if things get worse, you will already have known. I've always been a big proponent of everybody wearing their gear and going out and rucking with it. I know you can't take your rifle out into the middle of town, but you can take something a similar weight. So I would definitely suggest starting that now. Let's see. I'm heading out to the reloading shack and a few SHTF Hunter. Damn, he's got a whole shack. Good job, sir.
Yeah, I got an
Or
extra
ma'am.
bedroom.
Does anyone remember a movie, Death Before Dishonor? So I will just keep my electric drill gun. Yeah, if you have a drill, you can pretty much make anything you want. I heard America going into lockdown tonight or Sunday night. I've also heard scuttlebutt about that, so I'm not sure. So I have some unconfirmed sources. I do that is in the BSL lab in Chicago, but they have not passed down any information other than what I provided on these chats. Yes, Delaware Patriot. Delaware Patriot, how you doing this morning, sir? And I don't know why I clicked off of that. I keep hearing the same Tommy. Been hearing a lot of scuttlebutt last week or so. Mr. Tommy Boy 9 says, "Hey, Riddle Girl, peeking in at the camera. She's doing a peep show this morning."
Checking out.
So what sit rep on everybody else in the land of what used to be freedom?
The land of the free, the home of the slave. What? Yeah.
Outbreak cascade of warnings is red linked. So let me screen share this just so I can everyone can appreciate it. So I talked about protein powder yesterday. Remember, if anybody remembers that, well, if you look at the top of what I'm about to share at the Drudge Report, hey, look, that's the same stuff I was talking about yesterday, but they're not listening. They're not listening, are they? All right, so 56% will be infected in California. Let's see if this link pans out to be anything good. Red linked outbreak, a cascade of warnings heard but unheeded. Yeah, well, people are heeding it. They just want to go out and buy toilet paper.
People want to
California
do what
government.
they want to do. Yeah, it's fucking. Remember, you're supposed to be free of travel, and yeah. Remember the thing called the Constitution? Still kind of exists.
No, they don't have such a rag. That's been thrown away a long time ago. So basically, that article says California governor issues statewide order to stay home, effective evening. So everyone is ordered to or suggested to stay home and eat crumpets. Now let's click on the red linked one. I know you can't see that, but I just thought it was funny. I had to share this with everyone that I was talking about, Jim. And now all of a sudden, I'm getting commercials for it.
Yeah, it's called cookies.
Yeah, I like cookies.
Yeah, not the kind of cookies I like. But...
They're low cal.
It was first. Okay, so this one, we will share this article. So apparently, the coronavirus was first detected in the Chicago area, which I was unaware of. I did get a rather. I think I read that article right. I'll put it up there for everybody to check out. But I did get. I haven't even checked my phone this morning. Everything's comms. Had to get comms going. Somebody left one of the radios down. Delaware Patriot says the land of make believe, yes sir. After watching the security assessment last night, I remedied some issues, but would love to address the outward swinging exterior doors. All right, Riddle Girl. So the exterior doors doesn't mean the security door. It means your door your main door. So your security door you want to swing out. It doesn't have to. You can get them to swing in, but it's a pain in the ass if both of them do, because one of them has to swing one way and one has to swing the other way. But if your interior door swings in, that's the problem. You want to rectify. You want it to swing in the inside door, so that way you can put that dead man on it in 1, 2, or 3 sections.
Yeah, we have 2 doors into the house. The front door and then the side door that you said, you saw that one area that you want me to secure. That one is the one that swings out, not in. Oh, so one of your side doors. I haven't got to the side doors. I typed up a whole bunch of stuff, and I got a couple more, like 4 or 5 sections, episodes of that I'll do coming up here in the next few days. But a lot of it's for repetition. The 3-inch door screws, securing the windows, and then we'll escalate this depending on how far we need to go. But shy of putting lethal force on the windows as much as I possibly can without getting any lawsuits brought upon myself. Or trap, and that's still technically yeah. Have keys to heavy equipment. Go to Tractor Supply store and get you a key ring set. Imagine the uses if shot goes bad. Our company has it all. I have the universal key. I have a Pagoda set. So yeah, most hardware like tractors and stuff are easily hardwireable. I have a set of cat keys. I've had them for 10 years. So Delaware Patriot is going to go up off the chains with the earth mover. Like what was the guy that done that? The armored up the earth crazy in the town bulldozer or whatever. You know what I'm talking about, Hi, Mr. TB9. I took the dog out for a perimeter sweep and potty. I posted up an article. Mr. Morlock, Delaware Patriot Company models, Volvo, Keys, Bobcat, Komatsu, Kubota, New Holland, and John Deere. Good ideal. Guys, if you take... All right, so go just do some research online, but the number 1 stolen vehicle are Hondas. And if you have an old Honda key that you can go to a junkyard and get, you can get 90% of Hondas to run. This is not I'm not a car thief, but you can go look at this online. ITS Tactical, Imminent Threat Solutions, Brian Black over there. You go over and support him. He teaches a lot of good stuff if you're interested in stuff like that. He also sells all the cool locks and all that stuff so you can learn how to do lock picking. By the way, Chevrolet only used 20 variations of the key in 1980. Same thing to 1980, 1993. Can open and use keys in a lot of Chevys. Yes. That's what I'm saying about Hondas as well. The number 1 stolen cars like the Honda Civic. And unless they're, I think it's 95, 90, well, I know 88 through 2000. As long as they know how to chip in them, you can wiggle the lock. A lot of vehicles are that way. I see a lot of that in the shop. People come in and it's like, hey, I'm like, bruh, do you at least have door locks that work? And most of them
I don't know how to operate any of that heavy equipment. Could prove interesting. If you could drive a stick shift, you could probably drive it.
She can drive a semi truck. I would imagine she'd be all right.
Yeah, oh yeah. I brought the tomato plants in. Says Guns Coast to Coast. Good morning, sir. Why did you bring them in? Train. Over there where you're at. Correct on Hondas. I still own a repo. Company. That's how I know. I love it. Do you get any claims there, Brian?
Hey, Irish, you're breaking up real bad right now. I kind of wonder if it's that ad in the background taking your bandwidth or something. But
How
when
about
you're
that?
talking, at least for me, it's breaking up real bad.
How about that?
That's a lot better already, yeah.
All right, we killed it.
Okay.
Also shaved. My neighbors used some A1 sauce and peppered my
You shaved your neighbors? That's
Angus.
kinky. I don't know my neighbors that well.
I don't know. It almost sounds like maybe he ate them. He shaved them and then used some A1 sauce and peppered them like Angus. Yikes.
Mm. So he made shit. I can't think of what it is.
Long pork?
What? No, a long pork gyro.
Yeah, it's like a weekend, and we're like, yeah, I'm eating people. I never liked that neighbor anyway.
Thanks, but Irish, your stream is going crazy.
Yeah, probably. We go off the rails sometimes.
And peppered their anus. I didn't know much. It's not even off the chain yet, brother. It's code seeing how many GLP people are here. There's a conspiracy forum, and basically when the shit hits the fan, you bring the tomato plants in. Oh! Well, good thing we're not conspiracy theorists.
Nope.
We all left our tinfoil hats in the drawer this morning.
I haven't put mine on in many years. But I do know that the Constitution's been thrown out the window with all this stuff.
Well, and it will once they call it quarantine, but it's really martial law. But
Yep.
All right, so I will go back to the Drudge Report and not share. U.S. jobless claims top record 1.5 million. It says next week. So apparently that's forecasting that they're going to shut everything down this week. Delay reporting numbers. Of course, they're going to delay reporting numbers. Newly unemployed grapple with fallout. Virus killing more men than women. So that's an interesting article. Why is it killing more men? I'll post that up for your viewing pleasure. All right, so as I was referring to earlier, let me back out of this with all my personal information. Make sure it doesn't show I'm logged in and my name. All right. You can check out Brian Black over at ITS Tactical, which is Imminent Threat Solutions. They carry anything from boo-boo kits to lock picking stuff, SAM splints, and they have face masks. Or they shows they still have them on their website. So and gloves and all that good stuff. They make some interesting morale patches, lock picking sets, and just a gambit of stuff. American manufacturing at work. We've been manufacturing in the United States since 2009. Our nylon is sewn right here in the U.S. by hand, and we ensure that every product we carry is made in America and supports American-based businesses. Click below to see our Made in the USA products, and he is also a veteran, and it is a veteran-owned business, so that's why I support them. I got my essential staff lettering this morning. Not sure I should be happy about that. It says Guns Coast to Coast. Yes, you actually got it late compared to the Chicago. Don't know what exactly you do. But yes, did I post that yesterday? I think I showed yesterday or the day before. Wednesday, they sent out all the information to the Chicago essential personnel. Brian Morlock, more men. That's because San Francisco and Atlanta are gay capitals. Some of these big cities are getting it harder on men than women.
I
So
don't know. They broke that down to different countries and different cities like London and stuff too.
so these still count as men in these politically correct times.
Probably because men don't wash their hands as often as women do. I think women are more hygienic overall. Personally, that's my opinion.
I beg to differ. I wash my hands so frequently.
I'm not saying all.
I cook, I clean. What really aggravates me is when you go to the restroom and you see guys playing with their junk, urinating, and then they walk right out, not thinking,
Hey, it doesn't
like they
count if
don't
you
wash
don't
their hands.
touch it. If you don't touch it, it don't count. There's been many a
Well,
time where
if you're shaking it, you're touching it. But anyways, so like if you go to the bathroom, that was just common. Said a lot. I've said that to many a person. Many a dude walking out of the bathroom. I'm like, bro, wash your nasty ass hands. And it'd be workers at stores and stuff. So I'm like, bro, you touched your junk, you need to wash your hands. You're supposed to anytime you go to the bathroom, anyways. Then reaching down, scratching their nuts, and then their finger in their nose hole. Well, hopefully you get a yeast infection in your nose hole, you fucking idiot. HVS, good morning, sir. What kind of Pop Tart are we doing today? You still got the unfrosted? HVS is in a crisis. He only has unfrosted strawberry Pop Tarts in the apocalypse.
I didn't even know they made those anymore.
Apparently, only in Hawaii. I've seen that the 2-county EMS ambulance workers. Yeah, see, like he said he's seen that with the.
Wow.
So the EMS workers are touching the junk. I did everything you handle. I don't know if you caught the video where I explained that how everything gets from point A to point B, but in decontamination procedures, anything you touch and you don't clean is going to be contaminated. So, old joke in the lab, that's a chemist and a food worker. The chemist washes his hands before he uses the bathroom. Yeah. I mean, come on now. Like, you wash your hands when you go in the bathroom. Do that every time. But, like, if I'm working with some nasty stuff in the shop, composite work or whatever, I'm going to wash. Before I touch any food, if I'm going to get a handful of mixed nuts or walnuts or peanuts or anything, I will wash and dry my hands. I don't ever stick anything in there. I beat the kids' asses whenever I catch them putting their hands in a bag of chips. I automatically make them their bag of chips, and that's all they're going to get. It doesn't matter if it was a full bag or empty bag. Once you put your dirty dick beaters in there, it is yours, and no one else will touch it. And if I catch you in any other chips, there's going to be problems. But you wash your hands for everything. So that's always just been, proper procedure. And them growing up, with me being in the Marine Corps, they knew, especially from, I think it was worse after I came back from NBC school. So, yeah. I'm like, don't put your dirty dick beaters. And they're like, little kids. And I'm screaming at them like they're full grown Marines. So it was always good. It was always funny. My kids use it. It's funny because they're driving and all that stuff, and I have to in college. And they're like they'll be friends. Don't be putting your dirty dick beaters in my bag of chips. Or their friends will come up. My youngest daughter, she'll say, "Don't put your dirty dick beaters in the cookies." That's funny. Heck, I want unfrosted blueberry. I can handle some unfrosted blueberry Pop Tarts. Have you tried the pretzel Pop Tarts? If you like pretzels, they're great. They're fantabulous. Good morning. I was yelling good morning earlier, and I don't think she could hear
No, she heard you.
me. everything off. I had not added myself to the conversation. Blueberry Pop-Tarts are great. Yes, sir. HVS is just coffee so far. Has it gotten to the crisis that there's no Pop-Tarts? HVS says, hey, Dell. Delaware Patriot. Anyone else drinking coffee while in the chat besides me? Of course.
No, you're not. You're drinking espresso.
I have my coffee laden. No, I didn't make the espresso. I don't have a fire going. It's 75. And this is my giant ass coffee cup. And this is my protein shake with coffee in it.
There you go.
So I broke quarantine yesterday, so I'm gonna have to restart this over to day one. But we went to the local. I call it local. It's 45 and almost on an hour away. So we went to the local stores to check out all the stuff. And I will share some of the video. If everyone can see, all the shelves in the Sam's Club are empty.
You went to a Sam's Club though. That's like the first place people go.
Right, but you're talking about a place that's you have to pay to go into.
Yeah.
So, and this was during business hours because we have a business membership. So nothing, no milk, no eggs, nothing.
All right.
There was a couple busted gallons of milk down there. So
I've noticed though around me, the last time we went out, a lot of that stuff was gone too. But like all the junk food in the pastry aisles, all the donuts and the cakes and all that, that's still there. Candy's still there, obviously. But yeah, staple food that you actually, normal people buy. If you wanted chips though, you could buy chips.
So the good thing is like I obviously went there during business hours, so there's not a whole lot of people there. However, that just goes to show you that even though I get it an hour earlier because of the business membership, that they still don't have shit. So, Irish Vet, have you watched any one of Savage Survival's YouTube channels, former Marine? No such thing as a former Marine, but yes, I do watch Savage Survival. Different strokes for different folks. There's just some stuff I won't talk about. I'm a farmer now, and I guess you could call me the militant farmer. But yeah.
Ooh, new channel name. Next time you reset everything.
No, I stole that from Bear Independent, so I cannot claim credit for that. That was Bear Independent.
You had recommended me watching something about small unit tactics, so I was doing a search on that, and the Haas USMC came up.
Yes.
I hadn't seen his shit in forever, and I was like, wow, I actually kind of forgot about him. I'm like, I think I'm subscribed to him, so I went and I'm like, yeah, I am subscribed to him. He hasn't put out a video in 2 years. So kind of now I'm wondering what happened to Haas, man. Is he underground now, or he gone, or?
Well, I mean, it just gets frustrating, especially to Marines. Like I've tried to put this information out. People thumbs down, people complain. People don't want to listen. So whenever people don't want to listen, Marines just quit telling you. I mean, I guess that goes for a lot of the preparedness groups, or preparedness people, or military people. Like I can only preach to you so much. That's why I quit, and I didn't come back to start this COVID-19 crap. I came back to do the farming stuff because I really believe that that's where America needs to head to. So,
agreed.
That is why.
Prep, man.
Like I could still do shooting videos and tactic videos, but why? I mean, everybody's already done it, and plus, I don't want to give away any little tech, tricks or tips that I may. It took me 4 hours to type up this stupid security assessment, so that I didn't incorporate anything that I have implemented just for OPSEC. So Yeah. I want to help people out, but I don't want to. You don't want to give away all your own stuff. Coast to Coast says, Gov ordered 4 million more viral transport systems. For those of you who want, seems a little late, but they ordered them. They also put in, I don't even remember the number, but a huge order to a local canning plant that's couple miles up the road. I got that intel from the source. The guy is a maintenance worker at a canning factory, and he said that the government put in a super large order for soups only. So there's that
so
information from the
even your
source.
government wasn't prepared for this shit.
Kona Peaberry coffee here. Never had Peaberry. It's the system that carries the swab to the testing facility after it's taken from the patient. Yeah, well, I mean, we really got caught with our pants down because we didn't have this. A lot of people are on the book of Face. I don't get on there, but my wife is a proponent. She loves Facebook, so she's always on there talking about, seeing what everybody's talking about. And a lot of people were sick early on this season at Christmas time, and they don't know what it was. They tested negative for the normal flu and stuff, so a lot of people think they may have already had it because it persisted of 2 weeks of, lung problems and stuff. I don't know. That's unconfirmed, but now that they have tests, maybe they can test them. Today, Dunkin' dark roast coffee with my daughter's friend from Dunkin' made for me today. I went through the drive-through 2 large cups so far today. Oh yeah. I've just started on the cups of that. I have to drink a lot of water in the morning, so I drink 32 ounces of water in the morning and take all my medicines. Hit up the Dollar Tree, guys. They have had everything in stock. Really, that's not what's happening here. The Dollar General has had some items, but yeah. So you went out yesterday, Delaware. I know you said you were going to check it out. Irish just screwing with you, but saying former Marine. Yeah, you knew I was going to say something about it. I do just rile you guys. Well, of course, that's always good. My brother-in-law asked why Marines eat crayons, and I showed him the picture of the 6 girls in the crayon outfits, and he's like, "Oh, well, I can understand that." I haven't seen anything for a few years from Haas. Yeah, Delaware Patriot not here. All stores picked clean. Glad we're all buttoned up. True Irish. All it's been done for most. Yeah, like everything pretty much has been done. I mean, except for the farming part, I don't see a lot of people, getting out there doing that. Only reason I'm doing that is because Poison Stinger, said it would be good, and that some people would be interested in it. Other than that, I really don't do videos. If you see, you don't see a lot of my videos. I
No,
do videos,
I
but I
don't
make
think
them
you're
keep
gonna
them
get a
private.
ton of views. I don't think you're gonna get a ton of views from it. I mean, if you want to get views, I got good ways to do that. With the whole night vision, step by step, how to make it. That'll get you hundreds of thousands of views, guaranteed. The gardening stuff, you're not gonna get that kind of views, but you will get people who are genuinely interested. And if you can give them a step by step, with the whole starting from the start of like a square foot garden or a victory garden and actually going through it step by step, that'll won't get you a lot of views, but the kind of views you'll get will be, important ones, because that will make people more self-reliant.
Yeah, you could say retired Marine.
What if
Because essentially
what if a
that's what we are.
Marine what if a Marine gets out of the Marine Corps and then it signs up for like the Navy? Is that a former Marine because
Ain't
now he's a
happening.
seaman?
Ain't happening. Ain't happening. We won't get into that controversy today, but yeah, no, it ain't happening.
All right.
We did have a lot of guys come over from the Army and join. There were some guys that were, staff NCOs in the Army and came over and joined the Marines, and they put them down to private first class or E3, whatever, Lance Corporal. Took away all the ribbons because, But anyways, moving on. Yeah, you can say retired Marine, but once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine because it's a title that's earned and not given. I was sicker than I've ever been a couple years. A few days after the VA rally, it took me a couple weeks to shake it. Yeah, and we were talking about this last night. So China knew about this, November of last year? Could you imagine how it would have killed their economy if they had been shut down for a virus that was so bad that they were not allowed to send the product over here for Christmas? Everything that we purchase around Christmas time is 99% made in China. So just imagine how damaging it would have been to their economy had they been shut down prior to Christmas. So I think that's the big deal, like that nobody's touching on. China sent this over here, whether it's via products or people, but they knew that the United States government would lock everything down coming in from China if they had found out that this was possibly contaminating the materials, packaging. I mean, just imagine how devastating that would be if that was to take place. And it was Christmas, so nobody would have got their TVs or Xboxes or whatever fancy hair gadgetry or whatever. Everything comes from there. So if we shut them down, they would have lost their entire economy essentially overnight because they would have had to sit on all that stuff until the quarantine was over. The coffee, not my style, says Real Girl. China's economy is dead. I have 2 kids. I go to the store, and some people literally turn around when they see them. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, they were talking about that on some of the news things. I don't really watch the news, but I see YouTube channels that talk about the news where people are complaining
It's not in their
racism.
DNA.
Yeah, they're complaining about racism. They're like, oh, people aren't going to the Chinese restaurants anymore because of it. Well, maybe. I didn't. Okay, for my birthday, I decided we were gonna get something special to eat. It's the first time in a long time that I ordered out because you can't sit down in a restaurant, right? But I took that risk of buying something for my birthday dinner, and I could have had Chinese food or chicken from KFC, and I decided I was going to go with KFC just because, maybe it's racism, but at the same time, I know KFC workers got their little gloves on, and I still had to decontaminate the whole thing, but I had more peace of mind there than I did with like my local Chinese restaurant. So that was my theory on it. But the racism part, yeah, I guess you're gonna get that no matter what. Chinese products, anything coming from China, their economy is gonna suffer from this for a long time because people are gonna remember this and not buy Chinese shit quite a bit, I would imagine. But actually blaming a Chinese person or a Chinese child, that's just dumbass.
and then how do you really know? Like, I mean, there's no
These are the same
there's no
people who
way to
believe that we
I don't
came
look at
from.
somebody. I don't look at somebody and think just because they look of Oriental descent. I don't think, oh, you're Japanese, oh, you're Chinese. I don't think none of that shit. That's people's stereotyping. Like, now I will look at you and give you the stank eye if I catch you coughing and not covering your mouth. I don't give a. But other than that, I don't care. The 7-year-old boy thinks it's great. He thinks he can make lines disappear. Awesome. My man, see, thinking ahead of time. Go ahead and cough it up, son. That's what I'll be telling him. Yes, people are stupid, and they're inherently scared. So, like, they're not inherently, but they're scared.
These are
So
the same people who are buying the whole fact that they think that this came about because they were eating bat shit.
Well, I mean, if you were eating bad shit, you deserve whatever you get because that's dumb as fuck. But
really, I mean, how I know China is not the greatest place to live for the lower class, but I don't think this came from eating rats or bats or.
I also got a
whatever.
Russian kid. I'm watching him to make sure he doesn't meddle in elections. Yeah.
Should have named him Bot.
Yeah.
Come here, Russian Bot.
Is his name Vladimir? Let's see. You're funny today there, Guns. HVS says people aren't going to any restaurant. Yeah, every restaurant's shut down. My daughter works at a restaurant, and she said some crackhead came in and spit up blood everywhere. And she asked if she should be worried about it. But the manager, I called and talked to the manager, and they said they're just going to shut the store down on the inside, which they were supposed to do in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it wasn't the fact that he had some kind of virus. It's probably because he had no teeth and is a needle junkie. When they all this started, one of the developers on my team who was in California said they were getting treated differently. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, you can't depict just because you think someone is of Chinese descent. That's like that's taking all the Japanese descent people, even though they were American citizens in World War II, to essentially concentration camps.
That made more sense than what's going on today.
That doesn't make any sense.
It didn't. No.
No.
I mean, it made more than what's going on right now. That's
I mean,
all I'm saying. Did
you adopt every country to do covert ops? Changed his name to Benjamin Nikolai. They all need AKs. Midwest. Midwest is in here. Is that? Oh, shit! Is that Guns Coast to Coast? Is Midwest Prepper? Did he change his name?
I don't know.
I can't see the little picture. All I know is I've been to Moscow and the countryside 3 times in Russia, and it's nothing like the media or programming. What have you believe? The people are absolutely wonderful. Yeah, it's always the people are great, but the governments are retarded.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to live in that government. But
okay, so it is Midwest Prepper. He changed his name. I thought the picture looked familiar, but I need bifocals to see chat.
Everybody's changing their name. I need to get on that myself.
Yeah, I've been to a lot of foreign countries, and the people are always great. It's just like here. We have a bunch of old retarded fucks that are screwing us over. So let's see what else is going on. CDC, advanced knowledge. CDC started hiring quarantine program managers last November. All right, let's yank that article and bring it over here. So why would we start hiring people if we didn't know about it? And I'll post the article up there for your digestion. Nope, not ITS Tactical. Damn it. Why did it do that? So having some technical difficulties there. There we go. Awesome. So I have not heard from Tactical Tony in a day or two. If anybody knows him.
He did a video the other day. Apparently there was, a tornado?
Yeah, tornado warning.
Tornado warning where he was at. So that was his first experience, I bet, with that.
That's like a everyday thing here at Spring.
Yeah.
He'll have to get used to that. Internet traffic surging, but the pipes aren't bursting yet. So there's talking about we could lose internet. National Guard chief sees tens of thousands deployed. So they're talking about tens of thousands of National Guards being deployed.
Can you imagine the shitstorm if the internet goes down and everybody's at home? My goodness.
Well, I mean, nobody keeps books anymore. Like there's just
no.
I mean, and not that books are the end of all. Like, you're not going to entertainment, but like, how many people keep card games or know how to play card? Riddle Girl says, just because of interesting than coronavirus, ABC 15 crime, PD man hijacks city bus to ride around in Phoenix. Hey, gas is cheap. Might as well jack the bus. Oh yeah, $1.64. I told Poison Stinger there last night. We bought gas at $1.67 because the wife thought we needed gas for some reason, and then we come back through town after we went through our little intel gathering operation to see if there was any stuff for some elderly people that we have in our neighborhood.
See, that's what happens when
And
you panic
yeah,
buy, though. When you panic
that was
buy,
nothing.
no, when you panic buy, you buy stuff for irrational reasons. Like now you have all this gasoline, and as you said, you can't go anywhere, and you don't have any use for it really around the house, other than to go somewhere with it. So the wife, panicking, for some reason gravitated towards that. You know, when there's many
I mean, it
other
could have been.
things that
It could have been. It could have been she just wanted to get out of the house too. I mean,
possible.
and I did have 2 empty gas containers, so I don't know. I would call. I don't think she's panic buying, but she definitely buys into all my preparedness stuff now.
Yeah. Now it's not a bunch of junk in your shed or your
Yeah.
garage. Now
Why?
it's actual shit. Yeah.
Why do you need that grain mill? Why do you need this? Why do you need a fucking French fry maker?
Yeah,
Why do
I
you need?
mentioned the National Guard this morning.
Everybody needs a Copper Chef egg cooker. Those are actually excellent.
So yes, for anybody joining us late, the National Guard has been invoked in Arizona as of last night. I think we're the first state to do it. Supposedly, it's just to help out with the stores and stocking the shelves and possibly being there to make sure you only grab the certain recommended amount of certain items, so you don't go buy every roll of toilet paper that they bring.
So essentially, you are under martial law now, because the government's telling you what you can and can't do in a free market.
There you go, aren't we all?
They've taken over they've taken over all distribution now. So you don't know it, but you are under martial law if the National Guard is wherever you're at deployed. We're not supposed to have we're not supposed to have a standing army. So Tennessee is also stops sales of guns. So yeah. If the internet goes down, it's Mad Max. Nothing gets ordered, but shipped or delivered with. Yep. So there's no mail order catalogs anymore. If any of you are old enough to remember that, I know there's probably a few of you in here that are. But you used to be able to flip open the back of a book, magazine, and order stuff out of the back, and you'd send in your self-addressed envelope or send in your money through the mail, and they would send it back to you. No internet means game over. No internet means no spread of information. So we can not connect with each other as quickly as we could. If you do not have any ham operating radios or two-way radios, then you do not have any way to communicate. I'm not 100% certain if I posted this up, but you can, since nobody really watches this, I will give you the information. Said nobody really watches this. But anyways, I mean, I don't want a whole bunch of people, but you can go to Amron, and I will post the link up here in just a second as soon as my slow internet. If you go to the store, well, I'll just give you the link, and you can do some research on your own. But if you go into the store in Amron, you can print off a complete SOI, and I've done that for everybody in our unit and put the stuff in there so that they can contact and the frequencies spread that way. So you can contact each other. EU was asking Netflix to throttle back HD streaming. Fuck. Well, the EU has better internet than we have by far. Like their stuff is supposedly, 10 times faster and better than ours. So Sportsman's Guide still has a mail order form. I'm not sure is that the one that charges the super inflated, send them something, but it would be a giant fuck you.
Now, Sportsman's Warehouse.
$900 for 900 rounds.
That
No,
was,
no,
I don't know,
one
sir.
of them was price gouging the other day, and I'm pretty sure it's Sportsman's guy.
Well, I know Cheaper Than Dirt is doing that. Now, if they're affiliated with Sportsman Guide, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's up to you if you want to spend that kind of money for that. Right? I mean, I'm all for it. If you want to price gouge, I say price gouge. You're a dumbass if you spend that amount. And the ones that don't price gouge are the ones that are going to get most of the business.
Well, I just don't like, I like we said before, like I talked to you offline about online. I mean, I could go on there and price gouge all I want to. I have my own website, but I mean, there's no sense of doing that.
No.
I mean, yes, you can raise it. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to raising it like $1 or $2. But whenever, I mean, if I could sell a round for $1, and morally sleep at nighttime, then what kind of person are you?
It's, I mean, there's that whole argument of supply and demand, and you raise the price just so that people don't buy a shit ton of it and hoard it for themselves. Because
But they will.
Too. Yeah, there's those people too that are going to buy, everything that they can, and then the next person doesn't get it. Well, raising the price combats that, or having a limit combats that, right? But I don't know. I think in a free market society, you're free to do what you want. You're free to buy what you want, and if you don't want to buy it because it's overpriced, then don't. This is a good reason to buy it before a crisis goes on, and not during one.
The Delaware Patriot says, no, that's cheaper than dirt. It's price gouging. Okay. Yeah, I hope they go under. The hell with them. I haven't bought anything from them since the Sandy Hook massacre bullshit, and they raised magazines up like that. So he's saying Sportsman's Guide is not. Then I deeply apologize to Sportsman's Guide, but it's interesting to know that they're the only ones that still have a mail order part. Okay, so he says that he doesn't think they're affiliated.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, hopefully everybody's got enough ammo. I mean, I've got plenty myself, and I know how to make it, so I should be good with the ammo. Security is my number one issue, and I would definitely recommend watching some of Irish's stuff on that he's going to be doing, because I'll be watching, and we'll probably implement a lot of that here, and maybe we'll show that on live chat to some extent. But I'm definitely underprepared when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I'll be working on that shortly.
Some of that stuff you don't want to implement anyways, without when as it gets closer to SHTF, you want to put some of this stuff in. But my car computer is in the mail today, so I can find. Yeah, he's had a long time. I think it was Mr. TB9, Mr. Tommy Boy. He was waiting for parts from Chicago, so congratulations. Hopefully you'll get that. Yeah. Oh shit! Hold on, let me. I sent my source in military terminology, and he didn't understand it. So, there will be quarantines. I'm sure it's already started. People positive at work, but it's all good. I wear a full face respirator all day. Everyone else is good at home. I said, yeah, it's airborne. Blah 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 blah. You can get in your eyes and ears and shit like that. He said, yes, sealed eye protection is a must, or a full face respirator. And I said, sit rep for today. He's like, what's that? He was never in the military, so So I said, any new news there, boss? You got to be careful here to protect my source. I'm good on ammo, but when I'm out and about, if I see some at a good price, I'll grab it. As I've been doing the whole adult life. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like if I see, I mean, anything, for example, if it's on the clearance rack and I know I may need it, like the wife's like, why would you buy 5 packs of road flares? I'm like, well, we have 6 children, 5 of which drive. So I kid's car, you know, she doesn't want to hear that at the time, the time that they have a flat tire or something out on the back country road, and we go to pick them up or take them a tire or something, and they have said flares out. I'm like, oh, those flares worked out. And then you always get the look like,
Yeah.
you know how your wives are. Well, at least mine. She'll never admit that she was wrong, or that I did something correct. So I don't buy ammo online. It's too much. I bought a recurve bow off Sportsman's Guide recently. Awesome. Let's see, Mr. TB9. Yeah, I do the same thing with metals, DP, and snag a good deal. I wish I could do the metal thing, but like if I go into a coin store, I spend too much money, and then I probably would be in trouble. I like cruising their milsurp stuff. Milsurp stuff, I got the hookup on that. I have an entire warehouse full of it's all ACU stuff though, and some ACU and oh man, what's the other stuff? The other Army camo pattern that special operations guys use. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But I have elbow pads, knee pads, shingle, like 3 magazine shingles, first aid kit, like the IFAC inserts and all. I mean, like I got a bunch of that crap laying around. I bought some commercial, or bought some dermo stuff, and we had to go pick it up. And when I got there, I didn't realize how much stuff I had bought because I thought I was buying 10 or 20, and no, I bought pallets. Gaylord's full. So yeah, I was fishing and snagged a 1 ounce. What? Gold Liberty. Where were you?
That's a hell of a catch.
I think he's pulling my leg. Multicam, yes. Thanks, Delaware Patriot. Yeah, I have multicam. Yeah, I prefer good old woodland too.
You don't like the digital? The digital camo?
Huh? Yeah, I love Digi, but the woodland's good in more areas than not.
Figure if we're in the Matrix, Digi's gonna come out real good.
Okay, so my source says no, but be ready. Lockdown is coming. He's talking about full lockdown, like the National Guards are going to do continuity of government. So let me just ask him, and then I will clear his name off of here and show you the picture. Continuity of government. But I can't show you his name because I don't want him to be in trouble. So, and Delaware, do you have in your group? Do you guys all? Oh shit, no, yeah, he said yes. Let me see if I can clear his name off there and I can show you this. All right, let me get a piece of tape. That's fucking really imperative that we get that out. You can share it once I get a piece of tape over his name. Okay, curfew and give me a piece of tape. Where's a piece of tape? Shit. All right, this is legit, honest to God. I've showed all week stuff that he has said, and I have to find a piece of tape so I can cover that up. I do not want his name out there. Give me just a minute. He works for a level 4.
Go ahead and minimize me and make yourself more on screen so that you can share that better.
Let me grab some electrical tape to cover up my phone. I verified all throughout this week and last week the videos. You can see if you go back the bits and pieces that I've been posting up came from this individual. So this is legit intel that you won't get unless you have a family member that works at the level 4 lab, which is not good. I'm laughing, but I knew it was coming. I just couldn't say anything because of shit. You can still see it. Hold on. I have to double the tape up. I don't want his name to get out because. All right. Let's see. Yep. No, can't see.
Can you minimize me so your screen's bigger, bro?
Yeah, just a second. Booyah.
There you go.
All right, let me click off Delaware Patriot. All right, so here you can read exactly what he says. Can everybody read that?
Yeah, I can. You might have to pause, so just kind of hold it steady for.
Okay, let me see if I can. I'm shaking because I knew this was coming. Like my hands are all fucking shaky. I said, here, any new news? No, lockdown's coming. Continuity governor type lockdown. He says yes, curfew and shit. So he is pretty much confirming that they're going to do COG, which means they're going to roll out all of the National Guard and put them in the cities, and everyone else out in the countryside will be left to fend for themselves. So that just in from the source. I tried to get him out. I tried to get the other family member out. There's quite a few of them up there, but they don't want to leave for some reason. He can't because he got the letter that I showed in another video that he was mandatory personnel and he had to come to work. So piece all that together. I didn't want to put it all in one video, but this is definitely live breaking news.
Right.
I'm going to find out when they're going to call it, he thinks. Let's see. Multicam. I prefer good old Woodland myself. How screwed are we exactly? Well, if they do continuity of government, that is martial law. They're going to suspend all constitutional rights. And that
could be even going door to door and taking weapons, too.
Well, I have news for you. That's not going to happen, but good luck with that. There's not enough people. So he says it's going to be soon. He doesn't know exactly when. He says soon, I hear. Okay. Keep me updated. I sent him a message earlier this week, talked to him about stuff, and I was like, I can't come get you. I don't have a tank. Morning, Walter Davis. Tiger Stripes for the win. It says HVS. Lock and load. Yeah, HVS said that this morning. You need to start carrying your gear around, know what it feels like, where you got your hot spots, moving around. Yeah, see, I just missed it when he can't give me an actual day or time. He just says that they're going to. I said, okay, I just told him to keep me updated. But if you go through the videos, you'll catch all the Easter eggs that I threw out there to people. I mean, essentially that's what it is. You're hunting for an Easter egg in a 2-hour video, but or 3-hour videos in some cases, but they're there. If you go search all these videos, you'll find exactly what I'm saying and the proof that I provided via the chat of his. So glad we're ready. Locked and loaded here. Yep, same here. Get your gear on, test it out, make sure everything fits right, make sure you don't have any hot spots. Because it looks like it's coming. I mean, we kind of know it's coming, but the proof's in the pudding. I showed you. Take it for what it's worth. Don't panic, but advance your stuff forward really fast. Move with purpose. Move with purpose, people. I sure hope people have their gear unfucked before now. And that, but I mean, Delaware, I don't think it happens. I've said that a long time. I know a lot of people preach it. If you don't have that shit on, you don't know. The other night, I was trying to show poison stinger some, and I didn't have it in my office. And that's partly because I have loaded the vehicles up with it, so that if I get in any of the vehicles that we're going to be taking off in, I have it. So, and I put 2 sets in each vehicle, so that way, you know, the driver and passenger both have armor. So, and like everything is situated the same on all the armor, unless you bring something. If you were to come here and you brought your own, we'd all go on the same uniformity part, so that way everybody has the same H harness or whatever, you know, you plan on using, which you know, is all mission situation. Depends on the mission you're going, but as far as vehicles, yeah. I just picked up some black camo there, HVS. Mine's black woodland, or whatever that hunting camo is. And some maritime amphibious assault sneakers to arrive in the mail. Hey, let me know how those work out. I've seen those. I'd like to get some of those, but I don't know if that would be relevant. I'm sorry. I try not to be scared type of person, but, well, don't be scared. I'll try to walk you through anything we can besides, you know, being there to squeeze the trigger for you if you need to. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory, but don't be scared.
Well, she's a little freaking out because we live in the city, where we used to live out in the country. Kind of wishing still did a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I mean, what's the real option there? Is there any way you can go back out there?
Possibly.
Well, I mean, I know you can. You just have to make some hard decisions there. You have to evict the tenant with extreme prejudice.
Oh no, I would never do that. But no, there'd be some what do you call it? Groveling. There'd be a lot of groveling involved.
No, that's why I said you kick them out with extreme prejudice. La la.
Yeah, but I'm not that kind of person to do that, man.
Just because who it is, you wouldn't do it. If it was somebody else, you would take pleasure.
No, I don't. It would have to be somebody I really hate and despise, and then even then, it would be hard for me to do that. I'm not a person to take from somebody else. I mean, but if they took from me first or something like really bad, yeah, maybe. I mean, this person did take from me, granted, but at the same time, no, I'm not going to do that.
I'm evil.
Yeah.
They'd be my slave. I've told people that, you know, everybody's like, well, not everybody, but people say, "Oh, I'm coming to your house. I'm coming to your house. I'm coming to your house." I'm like, well, if you don't come with the required equipment list that I sent you 5 years ago, yeah, you're going to be in the refugee camp, and you'll be making your own food, fishing, hunting to feed yourself, because I'm not going to take away from my family or my people to give to you whenever you did not listen to me over the past 15 fucking years. Yeah. What is wrong with you? You bought 65 guns and a box of ammo that you could share between all of them. This is not a dig at Poison Stinger. Yeah. This is a dig at one of my brothers.
You have to preference that every time.
Because you give me the look. You give me the look every time, like, oh, he's talking shit about me. No, I'm not.
Yeah, we all have our things that we like, right? That we don't think about when SHTF's not happening.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I will keep everyone updated as far as information comes through my source. Like I said, if you want the proof, I'm not going to put it all in one video, but you can go through and find all the Easter eggs that tell you where, when, and proof from the mayor of Chicago that this person has to be at work because they're necessary personnel at the BSL lab. So, moving on, we're talking about the tactical converse. Delaware Patriot asks, no, they're all Thomas, says HVS. Roto Girl says last resort. I think Roto Girl can be put on point and a shallow hole can be dug in the desert. If you need to go back out there, I know that sounds horrible, but I believe you have a place you can go. Just don't have it anymore. And it says, I see a video wearing Reek black Converse. Yeah, I don't know. You pretty much you used to be able to in some special operations. You could go out and wear whatever the locals were wearing, but I don't know about the ship assaults. Never done those. I've been getting phone calls from all non-believers who have suddenly found Prepper Jesus.
Somebody please make that a T-shirt.
Oh, there's the memes going around. Somebody sent it to me. It's like Jesus is smoking a joint, and it's like it says something crazy like, "Oh," while everybody else has just now found out that prepping is not for crazy people or something.
Right.
All others are just sitting back. The Delaware Patriot, Altama, OTB, Marine, Assault Lows. Yeah, I've seen those. It's raining again, getting tired of all the drab. Yeah, it's not raining here today yet. We're supposed
It
to.
rained here for almost a good week, and
It
that's
rained all
rare
night.
for the desert. Man.
Yeah, it rained. Like we have flash flood warnings all throughout local and surrounding areas. So, yay! And then it probably won't rain all summer, and my plants will suffer.
Yeah. Enjoy it while you can.
Is there a channel name Prepper Jesus? If not, HVS is going to sign up for one today.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So I don't know if you guys remember.
Followers, not subscribers.
Do you guys remember Jason Knapp from back way back when we first started doing all the YouTube channel stuff?
Not personally, no.
I'm sure you will. I don't know. What do we? How can we play music without being in trouble?
You can get away with like 10 seconds of it.
All right, let me find this, and I'll. Well, I can't. I don't know if I. And if it's in the background.
So play 10 seconds, pause, talk a little bit, play another 10 seconds, kind of thing.
All right, let me see if I can play this. All right, I'll have to play it from the other one because that way everybody can hear it. Anyways, Jason Knapp used to hang out back whenever I was Southern Indiana prepper, and he became semi-famous because he came out with this cool song.
I remember there was a guy in our Second Amendment community that would write funny songs.
Yeah, this guy. This is him, but I think he got pretty famous. I'll play 10 seconds of it, and hopefully I can pause it in time. But I sent it to my buddy the other day. He's like, what do you mean? Don't be jealous of your EDC. He's like, oh, I got a rifle too, because I sent him a picture of a rifle that I wanted, and he's like, you got that? And I was like, no, I didn't get that. Nobody has $20,000 to just go buy damn. Where is it at? Here it is. All right. Here we go. See if it'll play. My gun's bigger than yours. Winning. 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5.
This is my EDC video part 2. I know what you.
All right, that was 16 seconds of it.
Yeah, but I couldn't hear half of it because the volume was really low. So you're probably okay so far.
All right, so I can share it if you want to go watch it.
Yeah, do that. Put it in the chat.
But it is this. This is my theme song for the apocalypse. I've had it playing the past few days, and so everybody.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people are playing Disturbed's Down with the Sickness. That's a good one, right? It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
See,
Green Day had a time in my life. Last call.
I never done ship assaults either. Laugh out loud. I wish I was that high speed. Well, I did some high speed, low drag stuff, but eventually I got injured and couldn't do it anymore. So I was no longer high speed, low drag. My final duty station sucked shit. The logarithm that finally updated the show, the virus winning. Oh, is that the one we've been checking out every day? They're poison or Riddle Girl?
That's the John Hopkins data. Yes, they finally updated the logarithm.
And it's saying that we're losing?
Yes, we're losing, and the algorithm is showing that the future prospects are that the virus is going to win hardcore.
Oh,
Great.
Great.
No, that Prepper Jesus is now a thing.
All right.
Barely,
Then gave away $1 million opportunity. HVS.
Yeah, that is going to be a hit channel.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, prep now. It's too late.
Thinking deja vu. I got gear for days, and I hate to brag, but I got so much swag in my bug out bag. When I'm out and about in the rain or the snow.
Don't know nothing about what you about to say, yo.
So much swag in my
By the
bug
way,
out bag.
I saw what you did 2 days ago, Delaware Patriot. Stop it now. Patriot Jesus is out there telling people to do and what not to do.
All right.
Somebody came up with
There's a lot of good video material right there. Yeah. That's
HVS says it's not me. Oh, somebody. Hey, it's probably Midwest. He probably verify. I say unto thee, thou shalt not amass toilet scroll in my name, in thy name. We'll have a celebrity in the house, everybody. It's Prepper Jesus.
Yep.
Give a round of applause.
Proof matches and a poncho, yo. I got a Zippo Slim and a real nice stogie. I cut my cigars with the Benchmade Shoki. Don't be jealous of my
Back from the interlude there.
All right.
It's a shame we can't do gun checks like we used to. That would be
I know, right? That was always a fun thing. I mean, that was great in our Kansas chats and stuff. Watch.
She didn't poop.
I got a Chris Fix Benz and a Cali tree. I got at least one pistol on me 24/7. I love slinging brass with the 1911. Got some instant coffee.
back again. Not
Talk
me.
about 1911s, man. I'm so scared to take mine apart. I finally took it apart, like field strip, which was scary enough as it was. And then I was looking, it's like trying to figure out what the screw in the trigger was for. And, it has something to do with the trigger, obviously, right? And people who adjust it or take up the slack so there's no slack in it, like, disassemble the entire firearm. And I was watching that. I'm like, oh, hell no. If I do that, I'm gonna have to buy me a beater 1911 just so that I can practice on it before I touch this one with it.
Yeah, I knew it had to be Midwest. That's like his forte. That's good. He said he's got the Twitter handle too. I'm not gonna have time for this. Well, hey, just pass out the password and let 4 or 5 people in the YouTube community have it. It'd just be funny just to see.
Yeah.
No, I'm not trying to be a rapper. It's Jason Knapp. He's one of the guys who used to hang out with us. It's just funny because his song is, but I don't know if he's signed. So
Nescafe and infected guard, sanitizing spray. I got a pocket rocket stove for MSR and a fixed blade made the USA K-Bar.
So periodically we'll play that, even though that we were just told that we're gonna be locked the fuck down. You got to make a little fun of the situation, right? Not everything will owe me royalties. You can come collect them. We got a lot of hoe work to do around here, Delaware. You want to roll down here? We'll put you behind a shovel or something, and you can collect all the royalties you want to out of the earth here. We have lots of work to do. All the seed starting has begun. Delaware sounds like he has a lot like me. He's like, oh, I gotta go right now. The wife is calling. So, Prepper Jesus, the time I got caught looking at naked women, I told him it was a sin and he'd go blind. Why do you think I wear glasses?
Be jealous of the EDC. I got a custom bow from CRKT. I love me a blade with the Spidey hole. I got a baseball bat for the YouTube trolls. Got a
Now Prepper Jesus needs to do a rap.
Yeah.
I enjoy looking at naked women. It's art. Jesus, thank you.
Just look fondly upon the creation.
Yes, yes. It's like a fine art to see
It's
a
like
body,
going out and viewing
sculpted
nature.
body.
You know,
Yeah,
you view nature for the glory and
the sculpted
of
body.
The sense of awesomeness. Well, it's the same thing with the ladies' form. Yeah, I know, right? The whole crosses thing always weirded me out with the religious stuff. I personally, I believe and I go. I haven't gone to church in a long time, but I'm religious, I guess, what you would call it. But I've never bought into the whole cross thing because Jesus was never into jewelry or adorning oneself with fancy things like that. And most of the crosses I've seen are gaudy as all get out, and you're glorifying. I mean, I know what you're glorifying, of him dying for our sins and being resurrected, but that's not the way to do it. First of all, and he would not approve. I don't think. I went to a coin store, really fan. It was like a coin and jewelry store, and they had one there that was so gaudy. It had diamonds in it and the whole bit. And I was just like, oh my goodness, man. How religious does that make you? You know what I mean?
I gotta do work to earn things. I know that you're just playing because I know you know what it's like, brother. I know you know what it's like. Yeah. Everybody has to put in some work. So, if you're a business owner, and you're being affected by this coronavirus, and it seems like everybody's going to be, I'll put that link down below. So there's another Easter egg for you. Small business disasters, just for your viewing pleasure. I'm trying to scrolling through all this stuff, trying to find the map that Poison Stinger Riddle Girl is talking about. I have to go through the 10 names that I know her by and say the correct one. So 247,000 is the new. of, well, hold on. Oh, hello, poison stinger girl.
Hello.
Where,
So,
what do you
yeah.
tell us some information here?
I don't know. I was just thinking that maybe that whole $1,000 to everyone was just a ploy to know where everybody is. Maybe you don't want that $1,000.
Oh, well, it's for taxpayers only, so I'm curious if they're going to send it to every illegal immigrant. I'm hoping so, because if they send it to every illegal immigrant, there's like 4 or 5 or 10 that work in underneath my wife's social security number, and we should get, a nice big fat check. They're just doing the money, I believe, to keep everybody's occupied and for everyone not to panic. And everybody thinks, oh, I get something free. Well, it's not free. They're going to take it back in taxes some way, shape, or form. But I think it's just more or less to calm people down. And most people won't even, it looks like from what you're saying, that you may not even need to check because you might not be here. So those checks will be no good, right? Maybe they're saying that.
The virus is going to win according to the logarithm anyway. I mean, it's just mathematical, fortune telling. So, but for the longest time it was showing that all of the sick people and all of the healed people would meet up, and now it's not. It's showing that all the sick people are going to stay sick.
All right, so that's the 247,000 is the before I refresh. I have the pages set to where they will not refresh, so that I can automatically refresh, or they will not automatically refresh. So let's see what the updated stuff is. Where did you find that? Is that like an article?
All right,
that?
so in the bottom left, I'm sorry, the bottom right
Mhm.
corner, you see where it has the projections?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I see
you have the actual, and then you
logarithm.
should have the logarithm.
Yeah, like whatever that big word is.
Yeah, the logarithmic. So what that is, just mathematical projections.
Okay, so click on that, and oh yeah, it does say it's just going to catch up. It's going to meet in the middle. Let me see
Yeah.
if I can screen share that, and you can walk us through it.
All right.
Yeah, the people won't be able to cash these checks, so maybe that's why they're telling everybody this, and they're being. All right, can you see it?
No.
All
Yeah,
right,
now
on.
I can.
All right.
Although
let me bring it full.
The bottom thing is blocking it.
Okay, let me take.
Yeah, it's still
Take
blocking
those
it.
off. Take the banner off. I'm working on it, girl.
There we go.
I'm only one person over here in the studio. All right, so here's what she's talking about.
If you mouse over that, click on the little circle there in the corner so that it'll maximize it. There we go. Why isn't it going bigger? There we go. All right, so you see the yellow line?
Mm-hmm.
There for the longest time, all 3 of these were converging into one spot, right? But now the projections are showing that the rest of the world is going to be very, very sick. And so the yellow line is what I'm looking at here. The green would be recovered. So it's not showing that the green and the yellow are going to meet anymore. That the yellow, being the sick people, are going to overtake the total recovered, which means that a lot more people are going to die from this.
Okay, so they're projecting that that's what's going to happen?
Yep. So if you go to the very end dot on the yellow,
how do we go to that
they're
way?
saying that by March 20th, the rest of the world, which is not everybody but China, is going to have 166.2 thousand people sick by March 20th, which is today, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if
So
you
that's
continue
grown.
that projection on, you can kind of imagine what the curve is going to be, right?
Well, it's just going to trend upwards and not stop. Then where's the end at, right? Is that what we're getting at?
Exactly. So go to the actual now.
Where do you see actual?
The tab at the bottom left.
It's a tab.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Stinger. Holy mother of God!
Now, do you see the curve? So now you got to put these two together, and you just got to use your logical mind to think this out. This is the curve of the actual sick people versus what the logarithm is saying, right? So the logarithm predicted that we'd be in a much better shape than we actually are. So mathematically,
It's
if you
growing
think about that,
exponentially,
yeah,
which we kind of figured would happen, but not at this steep of a pace, right?
exactly.
Yeah, that's taking off.
So now, if you use your mathematical hat and just think about this,
He's a jarhead.
India hasn't done the amount of testing that they're supposed to do, and that's also a highly populated area, right? So this number, when they finally do get their testing done, is going to probably double. And then we can think about the logarithmic projections then, and the virus is going to win for quite a while.
So it is essential that we do stay indoors, or well,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep.
I have a big problem with the martial law. However, I also understand that people are fucking knuckleheads and they won't listen.
Yeah, that's
So
the
either,
problem with freedom, though, man. It's either dangerous freedom or peaceful slavery. Which do you prefer? You know?
because if we do go under martial law, there's no guarantee that we'll come back out of it.
That's right.
And if President Trump was to die and someone else got in there, I mean, they don't have to revoke the. Yeah, so I understand that completely. But then again, even if it's under martial law, you're still going to have people that are going to do whatever the hell they want to. So it's a situation to where everyone should morally do their best to stay away from everybody.
Yeah.
But I don't believe I think the educated CRBN technician in me says yes, everybody lock them down. But the Marine patriot that likes my freedom says,
Yeah.
fuck no, you're not telling me what to do. But
Exactly,
that's
right?
but
I
the
know
same.
I know I need to stay in the house and not go out because I'm at risk because I have health issues, right? And that's fine. But then when you tell me that I can't go out, that's when I really want to go out, just to say big old F you, you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take those numbers and plug them in and do some further forecasting, take it out a few months and see what it does. I'm a data analyst, so I should be able to come up with some better numbers than what they're showing us, because they don't want to show us past today on the logarithmic chart, because that's going to freak people the hell out.
Let's ask Prepper Jesus. What does Prepper Jesus have to say about it?
Don't.
Oh man.
Prepper Jesus says don't.
Jesus has risen from morning muster. Yes, you're correct. Walter Davis, hey Delaware, how things in the neck of the woods? So let's see. Up here.
Oh yeah, I do have my y'all need Jesus shirt on.
You need Jesus. Speaking of total confirmed 7. Yeah, I wear a cross every day. I still have my military cross that I was issued. I still wear it every day. I don't have a Jesus piece with crescent and diamonds. Italy declares martial law according to HBS at 1109. No shit, HBS. It's not surprising, coming soon everywhere. So I did share with you that information. The Easter eggs are in the other videos. Let's see. COD game version where players shoots and infected people before they transform into zombies. Ask out of storage, says HBS. So quick note on that. I do want to mention yesterday when we were in the stores, they have completely shut down their central heating and air units to stop the recirculation of the virus if it is. Weapons free, hashtag Prepper Jesus, Jesus preps. That's how I feel too. Yes, I'm like I'm said, how to stop it, but I don't like it. And I don't like the powers that be that would say that they'll give the power back to the people.
Yeah.
Because we all know that's not the case. So, and if they do give it back to us, it'll be very limited, and I'm sure there'll be some information in there about we can't own guns. You can only use swords and stones again. But we're going to keep ours.
Mhm.
The government's going to keep theirs. So,
Yeah.
If
we get into that point, man, I think America is going to definitely be a thing in the history books. Because it's only going to get. I don't know. Maybe people say hell no, but I don't give humanity that much hope. I see our side, right? Our side, the Second Amendment community, infighting so damn much on who should be able to own what types of firearms that we are so divided as our own Second Amendment community that I don't think so. Because even there's a big divide on how many people thinks it's just for hunting and self defense versus how many thinks it was actually meant for taking out tyrannical governments. So
I will ask you to come live a week in the woods in a rural community and tell me you don't need any kind of weapon that you want to use. I want to send you out into the woods without a weapon for a week, and then I want to send you into the woods with a weapon for a week. And you come back and tell me how you feel safer. Just saying. It's not a false sense of security when you can protect yourself. But if, like the naked and afraid people, would you prefer to have a weapon when you're dropped off in the middle of nowhere? Yeah. What do they make? They make weapons, right? But you're making aboriginal weapons. And that lion, tiger, whatever or alligator is easily taken down and dispatched with a firearm. It doesn't matter if it has 30 rounds or 10, but I don't believe in that shit either. You never go full retard unless you're a saw gunner. And they're literally not shooting at targets. They're just spraying to keep everybody's heads down while we can maneuver around and get you locked down where we need to put rounds into your chest cavity or cranial grape. So, a railgun, yep. You could actually make those. There's plans for it on instructables.com. So go there and invest a little time, print off some articles. I think it's $10 a year, and you can download all the articles. But I would suggest that you print them and put them in little binders. And to save money, I go to the Goodwill and Salvation Army and stuff like that. Can we show guns and ammo? We can only can we show ammo?
Yeah, I don't think that's against the rule.
So this, let me get some light in here. I just going by the sunlight. Yay! Everybody can see my fat head. So this, for all you peeps out there, is what connects the stripper clip to a magazine. This here, being a stripper clip, fits inside, and then you strip the ammo into the magazine for fast reloading. This is a clip.
Because reloading 5.56 is so hard.
Hey, do it enough and your thumb will get sore, okay? You don't want to have a sore thumb. But anyways, back to my topic of discussion. You get these little things, and a lot of times if you go to the Goodwill, you'll find them with the sleeves already in them. Let me check what's in this one first so I don't give away anything. All right, so this one is the Communication SOI book, and this is part of the communications comms section that I was just refreshing myself on, so that in the event that we lose cellular technology or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or any of those social media platforms, I can have that. And brushing up on it, I'm not the comms guy. We have a comms guy, but I like to stay abreast of knowledge and the situational awareness. So it'd behoove you to get that $25 Baofeng radio just so you can listen, if nothing else, or a scanner. So most police departments have switched to digital, and you can't listen. You're not allowed to for whatever reason. So you can't run from them. But wait, Salvation giving away free ammo? Salvation Army give. No, no.
Don't think so. It's not that kind of army, bro.
They actually they're based on the military model, though. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
They still function like that. Their command structure is set up like the military. But yeah, I don't believe they'll be handing out. They do a lot of help. They do help a lot of people with drug addictions. They put them back to work and integrate them back into society. Not all people want help, and they take you in 2 or 3 times. However, they have a zero tolerance policy. If you do pop positive on drugs, alcohol, or whatever, they will kick you out. It's a great organization. But we're not talking about that right now. So go there, find those things whenever, or you should have already had them. But another thing you want to look at right now is improvised weapons. In case you're not available to get them. Creek Stewart, a fellow Indiana person, put out a pocket field guide on how to make them. You could probably still get these from his website or Amazon. He has a lot of these cool little books. So if you're interested in that, I would acquire that now. If you do not have weapons, a lot of those weapons can be used as offensive as well as defensive. Just by placing
to have anyway, just in case all your weapons go missing or confiscated or whatever.
Well, if you turn in your weapons, you're an idiot. I'm just saying that. So, yeah.
But I mean, there are situations where you could be out and things happen while you're out.
Well, once we go into full lockdown, there will be no one in, no one out. Everybody's already been notified of my group that needed to be notified. If you're outside the fence or the wire, you will be remaining there. So, yeah, go ahead and start implementing those procedures now. It seems like with the projection and the confirmation from my inside source, I have not received any more updates from that person. But yeah, I would definitely suggest implementing your security protocols, and check out the video on home security assessment and some of the options I'm putting out there. I'm only using Home Depot because Amazon is currently supposedly only shipping staples. So Home Depot, Walmart.com. Walmart.com sells concertina wire or razor wire for the layman. So you could possibly still get some of this stuff before they go into complete lockdown, just to protect your family and whatever you have prepared for yourself. So, will you be a target if you have concertina wire out in front of your house? Probably so. But it can be strung inside, so if they do come in the windows, if you have pets inside, I wouldn't suggest that. But depending on how how bad it gets, you may have to hang that stuff from the windows like curtains if you want to protect yourself. So definitely get prepared. Follow along with the security assessment videos that I'll be doing over the next few days. It may be too late. You may have some of the stuff on hand that you can implement. I will try to give as many homebrew options, I guess, to help you out. If you can get pallets, I would get them now. They can be used as improvised barriers to give you some standoff space from your windows. And yeah, so don't panic, but definitely step up your game for home security. And if you can, make it look like there's nothing there worth taking. I was saying that last night in the little quick video, being on the homestead here at the farm, we have a tool shed, and there's lots of stuff laying around. So last night when I walked through, I found 3 axes and a splitting maul laying outside. So I took those and brought them in and locked them up because they can be used as dynamic entry weapons. And why give someone the opportunity to have something that they didn't bring and they come unprepared to enter? I'm not going to give them stuff that they could use. Hedgehogs and fugas. I know what a hedgehog is. And I actually have I was going to do a video on hedgehogs, homemade ones that you can make out of fence. Punji sticks. I would not deploy punji sticks because that is considered a booby trap, and it's still currently illegal. Poo gas. Affixed bayonets. I don't even know. Well, some of my equipment doesn't allow bayonets. But if you've seen an old Moses and the Gaunt bayonet, holy crap! We tested one of those back on Irish USMC or Southern Indiana Preppers channel, and man, you could drive that son of a bitch to a car door. It's like 18, 19 inches long, and it's like a screwdriver. So you imagine a Phillips screwdriver that has the grooves that run all the way down, and that's what that is.
That's nasty.
Yeah, and it'll go through a car door.
I think my AK is going to be my go-to right now, only because I do have a bayonet for it, and I bought 30 rounds of black tips. So
I would highly suggest you put those hearing protection in that I sent you in that kit if you're going to be doing some CQB. I'm leery of metal objects piercing things. Come on now, says Prepper Jesus. Yeah, I mean, Tanglefoot's thing. You don't necessarily have to make them. You don't have to make them out of barbed wire. You can make them out of string. Think traps for small game. You can make them out of steel. So that would be good to slow people down. In a pinch, you can use barbed wire or razor wire. Too soon, Prepper Jesus, too soon.
Well, it was about metal objects piercing things. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting.
20 years is too soon. Or 2000
for the hate mail.
Jesus was not very loved, at the time. So
already got a follower on. Why don't you go over and follow us on Twitter, Prepper Jesus, and we'll start
on Twitter,
trending.
Just a couple, or maybe a tweet a day of little proverbs of getting prepared, in your whole biblical style. Yeah, that's going to take off in this world. All the world.
Prepper Jesus is live on Twitter. I am following, and I'm tapping the bell. All tweets. Hashtag Prepper Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to retweet that. So Prepper Jesus will blow up today. You should get some merch so you can make a little extra money to take in, get your $1,000. I love all the world, but not China. The ungodly souls of China. Wow, off the chain. Caltrops, yes. You can make them out of cool little pieces of fence, leftover fence, cattle fencing. I've updated the profile pic to Jesus carrying a rifle, but it hasn't loaded here yet. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Yeah, it shows Jesus carrying a 50 cal.
Somebody's got to carry it.
I got ladders laying around. Yeah, I'm definitely right there with you. I have quite a few leaned up against the house. So the best way to secure those is just screen or something, so they can't be removed. An apron, if you know what an apron is, search a barbed wire apron. That's going to be something you probably need to implement if things go really bad, depending on the land situation. We already have barbed wire fences, so they're not really scary because to keep the animals in. Now, honestly, I have told 2 Chinese adopted kids, how warped do you think they'll be?
I think they'll have a healthy understanding how all this works. I don't know.
Well, they're not Chinese anymore. They're
Yeah.
American and they're yours. So I wouldn't, just because they have Chinese ethnicity, I wouldn't, have seen nothing until you've seen a 7-year-old Chinese kid that speaks and acts like a hillbilly. Well, I mean, hey, catapults. Nah, no catapults yet. You've been watching The Walking Dead. You've been watching The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead, man. What a joke.
Trebuchet. Yeah, we could definitely get into some of that. That's funny because the Purdue University, where I still take continuing education classes and stuff for farming, they have a pumpkin chunking contest every year, and a lot of them are trebuchets.
Yeah. I like the ones that are air cannons, though. Those are always kind of cool.
Oh, the spud gun.
Yeah, big
The spud gun.
Yeah.
You could
The
go
real
find all this
powerful ones,
stuff.
Usually the pumpkins explode before they even leave.
You can still go find all this stuff on Instructables.com if you need to. Jesus, calm it down, says Guns Coast to Coast. Are you still out driving around every day for your job there, Guns Coast to Coast? Need a prepper 10 commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you should carry your EDC every day. That's one of the 10 commandments.
Yeah, for sure. I finally got the wife to actually start
Nothing slimmer than me and a samurai move in my EDC. I don't like preppies, but I like to prep. I got 100 feet of paracord around my neck.
Finally got the wife to put her belt on because she hates belts. I bought her this really nice IDPA belt. It was like $50, and she wouldn't wear it because she doesn't like belts. But I mean, she's out walking the dog, and when we both go out walking the dog, I'm carrying, she's not. I'm like, if you're all worried about this and you want to take precautions, step one, wear the damn gun I bought you with the holster and the belt.
Well, I won't show anything else, but I have a sling on right now, and it's carrying my EDC pistol. So yeah, it's easily, you can connect to another pistol if need be, but I'm currently carrying the 22 version, 22 caliber, and it's one of those scary black AR-14. So
right. Yeah, most of my stuff's in the other room, but the other room's not that far away, and I always have something.
Well, that's what I was saying earlier too. Like, you need to make sure, like, this is going to cause a hot spot in your neck. That's why I'm wearing a hoodie. I wear a hoodie almost every day, so it doesn't matter. But I mean, the hot spots are going to. I still wear hoodies, man. I wear hoodies. The damn mosquitoes will carry you away where I live. So
okay.
It's bad whenever I'm wearing pants in the summer and shorts in the winter. So.
I got my first snack when I was only 6. A Victorinox, my dad blunted the tip. Now I've got it on Sean, you can go ask my mom. It's sharp enough to shave here, this knife is a bomb.
Wiki, wiki, wow, wiki, 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 wow.
And this guy got famous?
Yeah. He put his kid in the video. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I wish I could play the whole thing. But yeah, that's my jam.
Here's the thing. They won't shut you down. They won't shut you down for playing it. All they'll do is claim the rights to the video. So if any ads play on it, it'll be for them, and they'll be the ones that get paid. But, I mean, what we're talking about right now, you're probably not going to get any ad revenue anyway. So, I mean, why the hell not? I guess. I don't know.
Well, my favorite part's coming up. It talked about he made his girlfriend a paracord thong. So
Well, that's gonna chafe.
it's definitely a video to watch.
I'm trying to do harm to me. They'll think twice when they see my Springfield armory. I wear it on a gold chain under my shirt.
He wears his P4 squirt on a gold chain under his shirt. Pumpkin Chunkin was founded in, so Mr. TB9 says RT is showing USA testing hypersonic missiles. Well, we're obviously going to have to go to war after this because how is everybody going to get their free checks? We have to go to war to make money.
Not only are they giving
Delaware
people
Patriot
free
says
money-
pumpkin.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, not only are they giving people free money, but they're going to have to bail out all the industries that are shutting down right now. I mean, they're going to have to prop up the entire American economy for who knows how long. It might be up to 18 months. They're going to have to print that because there is not enough for that. And how do you pay for that back? China's going to call in their loans because they're already pissed at us as it is, let alone now we're going against the Wuhan flu. You know,
The Kung flu, is that what you called it?
Kung flu, yeah. So
Kumo
I'm
ordered
right there with
work
you.
from home.
I wouldn't be surprised.
HVS says he's 10 subs from getting monetized. Yeah, I've been stuck at 370 for God knows how long because it's to me because I'm crazy.
That first 1,000.
I'm crazy. I'm the crazy guy that tells you to farm and that water will kill you just as easily as a gun will. So your ideology is retarded. Every business shutting down will default on their business loans, but the SBA is already covering that. They're giving you up to $2 million if your business is affected by this. So you can immediately apply for a $25,000 operating loan. I posted the SBA link somewhere up there in the chat. So if you're interested in that, you can go ahead and get that paperwork started to get some help.
Not to mention, if this disease is as deadly as they say it is, a lot of these people aren't even going to be around to pay back their loans or, go back to their businesses. I mean, this is gonna if it's 50 times worse than the flu. The last report I remember reading, it's bad.
Mr. TB9 says, I've been subbed to Hawaiian. Yes, we all have for a long time. But go over and share his videos and like his videos. He's the rich prepper of the group. He lives in a $500,000 condo. So yeah, get him some more subs over there, guys and gals. Delaware Patriot, yeah, I've been subbed to him. I think we're all sub to each other, and that's the problem. It's only
not necessarily.
I
wasn't subscribed to Hawaii Volcano, not until he came on. One time we were debating on whether Bitcoin was real money or not. So that's when I found out him. That's how I find out about these channels a lot of the times.
We have a new guy in here. It says Elderberry. Good morning, sir. How are you doing today? HVS says 335,000. All right, big spender. Now he's showing off again, even though he's only got
335.
What's it look like in your area there, Mr. Eversoul? So he's promoting Elderberry, which we've been promoting for a while. So thank you for that. You mean he has more than me and my medals? I don't know, Mr. TB9. I'm sure you probably have more medals than that.
I would love to take a tour of Mr. Tommy Boy Safe. I just want to see it.
Very quiet and calm in Mr. Eversoul's area.
Nice.
Hawaii Volcano Squad says, you and Half Mil just keeping it real. You aid Half Mil?
Mm.
So, Mr. Eversole, what kind of stuff do you have in your area? Do you see any runs on the stores in your area?
Do you have toilet paper?
Do you have toilet paper? Yeah. The other day I posted up where you can get MRE toilet paper in bundles, if you're interested in that.
Also, RV toilet paper was something that wasn't hit as hard right away. People were overlooking the RV areas, like in the camping aisles of Walmart. Apparently, I didn't know this before, but apparently they made specialized paper for RVs. I guess something that breaks down a little bit easier. So, I mean, if you have a camping supply area, it's probably gone by now, but there's a chance.
Mr. Eversole, if you haven't already liked Prepper Jesus is one of our new members today. Go ahead and go over to Twitter and like Prepper Jesus. We're trying to spread the word of Jesus and his 50 cal. So go ahead and check that out. Let's play another little clip from our Don't Be Jealous of My EDC. See if Paracord comes up.
Don't be jealous of my EDC. I got a gold-plated bench fade, 943. I got a Bear Grylls military cup and canteen. I got a custom knife that you ain't never seen. All the thugs on the street will go run for the mummies when they see my 5-inch eagle no coming.
So we get 3 thumbs up. Mr. Eversole must be participating from his phone. That song is so hilarious. Yes, it is. It makes lots of sense, but it's or it doesn't make any sense actually, but I just like listening to it. And like I said, he was back in the day when we did Southern Indiana Prepper Channel. So he was and yeah, I can't believe you don't remember him. He came out with this.
I remember a guy that did stuff like that, but I don't remember a rapping one. I remember one that was on the piano. So,
Mr. TB9, do you think we will see a depression? I believe we're already in one, or they're just going to keep pumping the dollar machine either way. But I mean, realistically, we're going to be in a depression. We're in one. I mean, if you really,
they're going to be pumping that forever. I mean, until we get stagflation, I mean, they're going to be doing everything they can to desperately keep, this going because it's their cash cow. That's the whole reason why we have a centralized bank in the Fed, because they want to get rich off of it. They want to live in the life of luxury. They ain't going to want that gravy train to stop. I'm sure they're buying gold and silver themselves because they know that it's all bullshit too. But they're going to try to keep it going as long as they can. And once it does collapse, the whole country's going to go with it. That's my opinion, obviously. In my opinion as well. Uneducated at best. I didn't see the job numbers today. I haven't looked at it either.
So, for the new people that just joined, we were talking about earlier, Riddle Girl had posted up this projection, or I posted the projection up, and she explained it to us, and the fact that it is exponentially growing. So that's for the new guy there, Mr. Eversole. In case you missed out on that, we also posted up some stuff, talked about plans you can implement for home security.
I think that's a big one. I think people are underprepared for that. I know I am.
Yeah, a lot of these things are just stuff that you would go, like if we were to go to a place and do a security assessment of the home, these are the protocols that we would follow, and then we would implement stuff or suggest to the customer that they implement these things. So now's the time to be out there trimming those trees and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If Saints and Sappers came in, he'd probably tell you that he has 100-yard cleared area that he can see from. So into fiat currency. That's when crypto becomes the world reserve currency, says HVS.
Yeah.
So he's predicting cryptocurrency
Okay.
in
I
the
mean,
future.
that's what you want to predict.
Um,
Power to you.
let's go back and check the Drudge report. Fed begins pumping municipal bonds. California, more than half will be infected, which was covered earlier by Riddle Girl. The cascade warnings are heard but unheeded. That's red linked at the Drudge report. So that's more on what Riddle Girl was talking about. Post that link down here for your viewing enjoyment. So,
We're going to have a Riddle Girl segment because, as you could tell from the short time that she was on here, she's much more well educated than I am. Actually,
our local statistician.
yeah, she provided some actual shit. Versus me, I'm just giving you what I consider humor, which is debatable at best. Mr. Tommy Boy, can you do a video showing how to string metal cans so they make the most noise at night?
Yes, I can do that. That's a simple and easy video. Can you kind of give me a rundown of stuff that you may have on hand? Do you have soup cans, soda cans? Do you have a string of wire available? What do you have?
What kind of wire
and
would be
we
best?
can build off of that.
Like, would it be like fishing line?
I'm going to suggest barbed wire.
Mm.
But if you don't have barbed wire, there's fishing line. Anything. So basically a tanglefoot is something you want to implement that someone will catch their foot on and slow them down. Okay, well, he has all of that. We go ahead and start implementing the barbed wire. Get it put up and in place because right now it looks like you're just putting the fence up. No harm, no foul. In front of that fence, there's several options. You can dig post holes, which will act as a entanglement because people roll through them. All right, so you have one roll of barbed wire. I would suggest if you do not have a perimeter fence, which is going to be covered in the home security assessment videos I'm doing. But if you don't have a perimeter fence, stretch it out about knee height and put it in the ground. Put the posts in the ground every 6 feet apart and stretch it out about knee or shin level. And then let your grass go up around it. It's still a fence. It's non-lethal and it's not meant to maim or anything. But if you're questioned, you just had enough to do one strand of barbed wire. So, keeping within the current laws, I would do that. You can also take said barbed wire and make tanglefoots. It's basically a loop. Take and bend the wire around the other side of the loop, and then run a shorter piece off like you would for a snare, and then affix that to the ground somewhere in front of your barbed wire, and do as many of those as possible. And use your imagination. There's no real set thing. And actually, the more imagination that you have with it, the harder it is going to be able to defeat. If you have tall grass, that's the best place to put it. You can attach cans to it, but more than likely, if someone gets caught up in it, they're going to be cursing because barbed wire is a horrible thing to get caught in.
Yeah, I still got scars on my legs from when I got caught.
One thing I will tell you with cans, you want to drill holes in the bottom so that the water can escape, because if they do catch rain or moisture, they will not make the noise that they would. And I learned this because I put them all over my chicken coop to notify me if there's anything trying to get through the chicken wire, because we have a raccoon problem, mink, and stuff like that. So take a drill bit or a nail and punch some holes in the bottom so that the water will drain out. See, that's why I've asked for some video footage. Okay, I will be doing video footage. I'll make some to put on video maybe this afternoon or this weekend. I'm not for sure. Is today Friday?
Yes.
I'm still trying to maintain keeping the farm stuff ready and keeping that in motion. So I use fishing line and beer bottles to trap a feral cat that got into habit of sleeping on my old soft top Mustang GT and shedding cat hair all over it one night. He got trapped and then screamed cat sound with bottles crashing to the ground. Rusty barbed wire, you can just lay that out. Yeah, grab all the barbed wire you can, and just remember that you're not going to be able to mow this area once you do this. So keep that in mind. Also, with that being said, you want it to where it's still going to snag on somebody if they come up, so that they, so you'll have to go out there and fluff it, I guess you could say. Pull the barbed wire up out of the grass, because once the grass grows up through it and lays over, it's not going to be as effective. There is a method that uses glass bottles, but that would be considered a booby trap, and so I can't share that. But if you use your imagination, the bottle goes in the ground, and you shoot the top out with a BB gun because you're target practicing, and you forgot to remove the bottles.
You don't clean up after yourself?
Yeah, you didn't do the proper Boy Scout technique. Trapping a cat is hard. They have good senses. All you need is a live trap and a can of sardines, or some cat food, man. You can catch them all day long. SOS over there at Staff Sergeant Badass on Step 1 Survival calls them cats MREs. They're meals ready to eat. They are on the hoof, so they don't go bad, and they produce fairly quickly and have large litters. I'm not saying that you should do what the Koreans do, but
I think you should wait on that a little bit. Let's not resort to that week one.
I'm just saying. All right, Black Yeti Bushcraft has joined us. Cats can be a tasty in the right scenario. If they're chicken, welcome to the chat. Watchful Warrior, hoorah! What's going on there, brother? How's things in your neck of the woods today? I was thinking barbed wire will give added infections. There's some diabolical stuff you can do.
President's
but
on
tetanus
right now.
Tetanus shots are good for and we're missing it.
Yeah.
Shall we go live with the president? All right, let me find that. Okay, go ahead and start playing it, and I'll pull
it. And file early if you are owed money by the IRS. Other than that, we're moving it all the way out to July 15th. No
tax
interest, no
season.
penalties. Your new date will be July 15th. Today, our team will also provide an update on our continuing effort to prevent the transmission of virus across America's borders. And I watched what's been happening in California with Governor Newsom and this morning with Governor Cuomo, and I applaud them. They're taking very strong, bold steps, and I applaud them.
Shut down the whole state.
And we're all working together. We're working very closely together, including those two governors. But I would say, based on the call, the media was there. I think we can say that with respect to virtually every governor on that call. I think every governor. We had almost all of them, if not all of them. And I would say that you could see for yourselves that the level of respect and esprit de corps working together was extraordinary. There was nobody angry, nobody upset. We were able to help them, and that's what we're all about. We want to help doing things that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. But the relationship with governors and states is, I think, very extraordinary, especially under the circumstances where this just came upon us. We're working with Canada and Mexico to prevent the spread of the virus across North America very closely. You heard what we did yesterday with Canada. And Secretary of State Pompeo will be making a statement in a little while having to do with Mexico and the border. And Chad Wolf will likewise be making a statement. This is a joint comprehensive effort in collaboration with our neighbors. The measure and all of those measures that we're putting in place will protect the health of all three nations and reduce the incentive for a mass global migration that would badly deplete the healthcare resources needed for our people. And so we are working very closely with Mexico, very, very closely with Canada. The relationship's never been better. We're all working toward the same goal. Our nation's top healthcare officials are extremely concerned about the great public health consequences of mass uncontrolled cross-border movement. And that would be mostly and even beyond, but mostly during this global pandemic. Every week, our border agents encounter thousands of unscreened, unvetted, and unauthorized entries from dozens of countries, and we've had this problem for decades. You know the story, but now it's with the national emergencies and all of the other things that we've declared, we can actually do something about it. We're taking a very strong hold of that. And we have before, but this is now at a level that nobody's ever approached. In normal times, these massive flows place a vast burden on our healthcare system. But during a global pandemic, they threatened to create a perfect storm that would spread the infection to our border agents, migrants, and to the public at large. Left unchecked, this would cripple our immigration system, overwhelm our healthcare system, and severely damage our national security. We're not going to let that happen. So we have a lot of information, and they'll be discussing that in a moment. To confront these public health degrees, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has decided to exercise its authority under the Title 42 of the U.S. Code to give Customs and Border Protection the tools it needs to prevent the transmission of the virus coming through both the northern and the southern borders. So we're treating the borders equally, the northern border and the southern border. They're both being treated equally. A lot of people say that they're not treated equally. Well, they are. As we did with Canada, we're also working with Mexico to implement new rules at our ports of entry to suspend non-essential travel. These new rules and procedures will not impede lawful trade and commerce. Furthermore, Mexico is taking action to secure our own southern border and suspend air travel from Europe. So we're coordinating very closely with the air travel going to Mexico and then trying to come into the United States. The actions we're taking together with our North American partners will save countless lives. At the conclusion of my remarks, Secretary Azar, Secretary Pompeo, Secretary Wolf, we're going to be also taking some questions with Tony and Deborah, who you've gotten to know very well. But they'll be discussing certain things, and I think you'll find them of great interest. We're going to be providing tremendous amounts of detail over the coming days, but a lot of it will be provided right now if you'd like to find out about it. There's been a week of resolute action, tremendous relationships have developed with people that frankly didn't get along, people that didn't like each other. They're now working together and maybe even in some cases learning about each other and liking each other. It's a nice thing. I invoked the Defense Production Act, and last night we put it into gear. We moved the National Response Coordination Center to the highest level of activity. I mean, if you take a look at what we did, the level of activation has been increased to a grade 1 level, which is the highest level. We're providing historic support to small businesses and to the states. The states need support. Normally they do this themselves, and because of the magnitude of it, the federal government has gotten very much involved in terms of getting the equipment they need. So we're helping them. It's a responsibility they have, but we are helping the states a lot. That's why the governors, I think, in every case have been impressed and very nice. We enacted legislation guaranteeing paid sick leave for workers at no cost to employers. And I think it's very important. So they get paid sick leave at no cost to employers. We're accelerating the use of new drug treatments. We're advancing legislation to give direct payments to hardworking families. Throughout our country, Americans from all walks of life are rallying together to defeat the unseen enemy striking our nation. In times of struggle, we see the true greatness of the American character, and we are seeing that. A lot of people are talking about it. We're in 141 countries from what they're telling me, and some of those countries are really working in a unified manner, and they're working very unified with us, almost, I could say, a good number of them. Doctors and nurses are working nonstop to heal the sick. Citizens and churches are delivering meals to the needy. Truckers are making the long haul to keep shelves stocked. We've been dealing with the big stores and the big chains, Walmart. They've been fantastic, and others. They've all been fantastic. We've made it much easier for them to stock in terms of travel and travel restrictions. We're lifting restrictions so they can get their trucks on time. We're seeing very few empty shelves, and yet the amount of volume that they're doing is unprecedented because people want to have what they have to have, what they feel they have to have. And they're also buying in slightly smaller quantities, which is good because we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here. So I want to thank all of those very great companies for working so well. Americans from every walk of life are coming together. And thanks to the spirit of our people, we will win this war. And we're winning, and we're going to win this war. America will triumph, and America will rise higher than ever before. We'll be stronger than ever before. And we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about relying on other countries. And I can say that I think in both a very good and a very bad way. Some good things came out of it, and some not so good things came out of it. So I'd like to move now to invite our team to provide information on the new measures to prevent viral spread at our borders. And I'll start by asking Secretary of State Pompeo to speak. He's doing a fantastic job, and like everyone else, he's been working very, very long and very, very hard, and he's doing the other more normal jobs of a great Secretary of State. But he got tied into this like everybody else, and he's been really doing a fantastic job. Mike, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before I address the efforts that we've been engaged in to push back against the Chinese virus, I want to assure the American people that, as President Trump just said, your State Department, your entire national security team is staying focused on the other diplomatic challenges around the world. Those include reducing risk to America from Afghanistan, holding the Iranian regime accountable for its malign activity, and our counterterrorism efforts against ISIS remain a priority for our team. Our number one priority across those mission sets remains the protection of the American people. The President and our team are very focused on it. I'll take this moment too to thank my team, State Department team, who is working long hours all around the world to take care of Americans who are stuck in place around the world. I'll talk about that more. You've all seen Dr. Burks with me. State Department is doing great work, but I want to give a shout out to all of the State Department team here in Washington and around the world that are working overtime to help us push back against this pandemic. Under the President's leadership this week, we've taken two important steps. First, as President Trump announced on Wednesday, the United States and Canada jointly agreed to restrict all non-essential traffic across our border. This decision goes into effect tonight at midnight. The restriction will be reviewed after 30 days, and they exclude traffic and movement across the border for work or other essential reasons. We're grateful to have such an outstanding friend to the north who is committed, as we are, to defeating this virus. I also want to announce today that the United States and Mexico have agreed to restrict non-essential travel across our shared border. Both our countries know the importance of working together to limit the spread of the virus and ensure that commerce that supports our economy continues to keep flowing. Here too, the United States is glad to have a friend who's working side by side in the fight. Secretary Wolf will talk a little bit more about the details of how we're working alongside our partner in Mexico to keep our southern border safe and secure as well. On another note, yesterday the State Department issued a level 4 global travel advisory. This means that all international travel from U.S. citizens should be avoided. In countries where commercial departure options remain available, U.S. citizens who reside in the United States should arrange for immediate return to the United States unless they're prepared to remain abroad for an extended time. If you choose to travel internationally, your travel plans may well be severely disrupted. And finally, I want to talk about the disinformation that people are seeing on Twitter around the world. Some of it coming from government, some of it coming from other individuals. Just urge everyone, as they're seeing information that at one time suggested somehow this virus emanated from the United States Army, this information about lockdowns that are taking place. Every American, indeed people all around the world, should ensure that where they turn to for information is a reliable source and not a bad actor trying to create and flow information that they know is wrong. This is a tough fight. The American people are tougher. Our diplomatic teams are working around the clock to help them keep safe both home and abroad. And we're showing once again the global leadership that America has always delivered. It's been great to see countries around the world rally behind what President Trump and our team are doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And we'll take questions right after this. Doug Wolf.
Let me start off by thanking the President and the Vice President for their continued leadership and commitment for protecting the American people during this crisis. Early on, the President, again, took unprecedented actions to restrict travel from areas affected with the coronavirus. And to date, DHS has screened over 200,000 individuals coming back from those affected countries. This has been an immense undertaking, but one that the men and women of DHS have successfully accomplished. Today's announcement is yet another example of the extraordinary steps the administration is taking to ensure the safety of the American public. Before I comment on the CDC order that I'm sure Secretary Azar will later elaborate on, let me first address the progress as Secretary Pompeo and others have made with our Canadian and Mexican partners regarding cross-border travel. As we continue to evaluate common sense measures that reduce risk and prevent further spread, it only makes sense that we have looked at the measures that our neighbors to the north and south are undertaking. And so we've been working closely with those partners since the earliest days of this virus and the outbreak. And again, as the President said earlier this week, and Secretary Pompeo, we reached an agreement with both Canada and Mexico to limit non-essential travel across our land borders. Let me be clear that neither of these agreements with Canada or Mexico applies to lawful trade or commerce. Essential commercial activities will not be impacted. We will continue to maintain a strong and secure economic supply chain across our borders. A few examples of essential travel include, but certainly are not limited to, individuals traveling for medical purposes, to attend educational institutions, for emergency response, public health services, and individuals engaged in lawful cross-border trade. As the Secretary said, the agreements with both Canada and Mexico will go into effect on Saturday, March 21st. Furthermore, we're also working collaboratively with Canada and Mexico to take decisive joint action regarding individuals seeking entry between our ports of entry. The CDC order directs the department to suspend the introduction of all individuals seeking to enter the U.S. without proper travel documentation. That's for both the northern and southern border. The CDC director has determined that the introduction and spread of the coronavirus in the department's border patrol stations and detention facilities presents a serious danger to migrants, our frontline agents and officers, and the American people. So it's important to note that the department currently apprehends foreign nationals from over 120 different countries around the world, the vast majority of those having coronavirus cases. Many of these individuals arrive with little or no identity, travel, or medical documentation, making public health risk determinations all but impossible. It's also important to note that the outbreak on our southern border would likely increase the strain on health systems in our border communities, taking away important and life-saving resources from American citizens. Tonight, again at midnight, we will execute the CDC order by immediately returning individuals arriving without documentation to Canada, Mexico, as well as a number of other countries without delay. So again, CBP is positioned to execute these measures as we continue to keep our borders secure and safe. Before I conclude, let me just wrap up by thanking the brave men and women of DHS, specifically CBP, and across the government for the work that they do day in and day out to keep the American people safe from the coronavirus. The department has a number of frontline officers that have tested positive, as well as others who are self-quarantining. And that I am doing everything that I can to protect these patriots as they continue to defend our homeland during this crisis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Today's announcement is just the latest in a long line of bold, decisive actions the President has taken to protect Americans from the coronavirus spreading across our borders. In January, within 2 weeks of China's notifying WHO about the virus, and with only 45 cases in China, we began screening travelers from Wuhan. Then over time, as the outbreak evolved, the President restricted travel from China, Iran, and Europe. Our health experts say that these measures have been truly effective at slowing the virus's spread to our shores. Just think about this. Italy and the United States both saw their first travel-related case of coronavirus around the exact same time, the last week of January. And yet we have had precious time to continue our work around vaccines, therapeutics, and other preparations, while Italy has tragically been overwhelmed with critical patients for several weeks now. The President today is taking action to slow the spread of infectious disease via our border. Under Section 362 of the Public Health Service Act, the CDC is suspending the entry of certain persons into the United States because of the public health threat that their entry into the United States represents. This order applies to persons coming from Mexico and Canada who are seeking to enter the country illegally and who would normally be held in a congregate setting like a Customs and Border Protection station. It does not apply to U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents. During this pandemic, a number of health challenges arise when illegal immigrants arrive at our northern and southern borders and are taken into immigration custody. We're talking about significant numbers of illegal immigrants. From this past October through February, DHS has processed more than 21,000 inadmissible aliens at the northern border and more than 151,000 inadmissible aliens at the southern border. CBP facilities were never designed to hold large numbers of people and to protect agents and migrants from infection during a pandemic, nor to treat them for a novel virus if large numbers are infected. When held at border facilities, these migrants risk spreading the virus to other migrants, to CBP agents and border healthcare workers, and even the United States population as a whole. In such circumstances, the kind of social distancing measures the CDC and the President have recommended are simply not possible. On top of that, any resources that we are using to reduce the risk of infection among CBP agents, healthcare workers, and migrants in these facilities are drawing on an American healthcare system that is already fighting the coronavirus pandemic. That's why the President and his administration are taking these important steps to keep Americans and our immigration system safe from these health risks as part of our whole of government approach to combating the coronavirus. Thank you, Mr. President, for the work that you've been doing throughout this crisis to slow the spread of the coronavirus and to keep our country safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we continue to review the data very carefully from around the globe, as I know many of you are. We continue to see signs that, again, individuals under 20, 19 and under may have severe disease, but majority and all have recovered to date. We still see that same trend. And frankly, from Italy, we're seeing another concerning trend, that the mortality in males seems to be twice in every age group of females. This should alert all of us to continue our vigilance to protect our Americans that are in nursing homes. This requires all of the community, and when you see the sacrifices that many Americans have made, the sacrifices that the service industry has made to close their restaurants, close their bars, and so that the spread is discontinued, and then you really understand how all of Americans must make the same sacrifice. We continue to ask you to follow the presidential guidelines of no groups coming together of more than 10. And if anyone in the household is sick, that everyone quarantines in the household together. And that we continue to focus on those who have the most vulnerability to this illness. Now, to the moms and dads out there that have children with immunodeficiencies or other medical conditions, we don't know the level of risk. And I know you will also protect them in the same way. There just is not enough numbers at this time to really tell them if they're at additional risk or not in the same way that adults are. I don't have any new data. I can see the look on your face who's saying, is she seeing something new? I don't have any new data, but I think it's important for us to be as honest with the American people as we can. And when we don't have data, be very clear that we don't know. Finally, no one is immune. I sometimes hear people on radio or others talking about, I'm immune to the virus. We don't know if the contagion levels are different in age groups, but we know it's highly contagious to everyone. Do not interpret mild or moderate disease as lack of contagion or that you're immune. You just happen to have a better immune system, an ability to fight the virus in a way that maybe older people or people with existing medical conditions can't. And that's why it's very important at this moment that all of you carry that message about the sacrifices that many have made, particularly our service providers and our frontline healthcare workers. They are making that sacrifice every day so that every American can move through this well. But we need every American following the presidential guidelines. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I just want to underscore a couple of things that I've said a few times to this group. You may recall that just a week ago or so, I said the two pillars, the two elements of our capability to contain the infection and the surge of infections in this country rely on two things: keeping infections from coming from without in. We've been very successful in doing that with China and with Europe. Now we have the northern and southern border issues. There's a fundamental public health reason for doing that, because we cannot be preventing people from coming in from one area when they can actually go into the other. So that's an important reason. Understand that there's a public health reason for doing that. The second thing I think is really important is what happened in New York today, what Governor Cuomo mentioned about an hour ago, some rather strong issues that have been addressed with his recommendations, not recommendations, essentially orders. Now, we have a group of recommendations and guidelines that are applicable to the entire country. You know them, we've been over them. Yet there are places, regions, states, cities in this country that are being stressed much, much more than the country as a whole. Clearly, one of them was Washington, another one was California. Governor Newsom made some very important, difficult decisions. Today, Governor Cuomo did the same thing. And I want to say I strongly support what he's doing. And one thing, as a New Yorker myself, for those of you who haven't figured out from my accent that I'm from New York, as a New Yorker, I know what New Yorkers can do. We're tough. Yeah. I was in New York City on September 11, 2001. And I know what the New Yorkers can do. So please cooperate with your governor, cooperate with your mayor. It's very important. Thank you. Thank you.
Constitution be damned.
Thank you, Mr. President. The White House Coronavirus Task Force met this morning. We continue with the President's direction to bring the full resources, not just of the federal government, but in full partnership with our state governments, businesses around America, and in partnership with the American people to respond to the threat of the coronavirus. And I know I can speak on behalf of the President with confidence when I say how inspired we are by the way the American people and American businesses are coming together to help defeat this virus in our country. Millions of Americans are putting into practice the President's 15-day guidelines, and we encourage everyone, even those that are not in areas with significant outbreak, to review these guidelines over the next week and more and put them into practice, and you'll continue to do your part. Later today, we'll be talking with manufacturers around the country, and the President and I continue to be inspired by the way American industry is stepping forward. We have businesses around the country that are literally volunteering to retrofit plants to help us meet the needs of our healthcare workers and our healthcare system in confronting the coronavirus. As the President mentioned yesterday, following his decision to put FEMA in the lead, the emergency declaration, We actually met with all the nation's governors from the FEMA National Response Coordination Center. The President and I, our entire team at the federal level, couldn't be more grateful for the efforts of all of our governors in implementing the guidance that is being issued, not only from our task force, but also in taking strong measures in their own communities to protect their citizens. We want to urge every American to heed your local authorities, listen to their guidance, and also do your part to slow the spread. We reiterated to all of the governors that the President, by putting FEMA in the lead, will continue to implement a plan that is locally executed, state managed, and federally supported, that puts the health of America first. We have received a report today, as President mentioned, on our legislative team on Capitol Hill. We're working with Republicans and Democrats at this very hour to pass an economic recovery package that the President described. And we hope to see the Congress act on that early next week. On the subject of supplies, we continue to make steady progress on testing. Thanks to the President's involvement of commercial labs, the public and private partnership, more and more Americans are being tested every single day. And tomorrow, Admiral Gua and FEMA will update the American public on the status of testing and our support of state-based testing efforts that are literally expanding by the hour. On the subject of medical supplies, we continue at the President's direction to pursue every means to expand the supply of personal protective equipment for the extraordinary and courageous healthcare workers that are ministering to the needs of people impacted by the coronavirus. We have a policy of procuring, allocating, as well as conserving the resources that we have in our system. And now that the President worked with the Congress to make industrial masks fully available for hospitals to be able to purchase, to be able to use as protective equipment, we're more encouraged than ever about the availability of those important N95 masks to our healthcare facilities. And over this weekend, we'll be announcing a major procurement from the federal government of N95 masks as well. We're also encouraged that we're finding new alternatives to increase the supply of ventilators. We've mentioned that we have a federal stockpile, some 20,000 ventilators on standby.
Imagine that. They're unleashing the regulations to get more masks out. Regulations were stopping them from making masks. Good old government.
Other ventilators from other sources around the country. And there are two different ways that we're doing that. Number one, in our recent discussion with anesthesiologists, we've literally identified tens of thousands of existing ventilators that can be retrofitted and converted to be ventilators for people struggling with the coronavirus. But also, on the President's behalf, on behalf of all of our task force, we want to continue to urge every American and every American hospital and healthcare facility to postpone any elective medical procedures. This will free up bed space, free up hospital capacity for people that are struggling with the coronavirus, and it'll also free up equipment that our healthcare workers need. It is inspiring that we continue to receive reports that businesses around America are donating N95 masks to their local hospitals. Businesses large and small are donating hundreds, in some cases millions of N95 masks. And I know how grateful the President is, and we all are. And let me close by saying, as all of our experts have said many times, while the threat of serious illness to the average American from the coronavirus remains low, every American can do your part to reduce the burden on your health, on your family, the burden on our healthcare system, and especially the threat to the most vulnerable among us by putting into practice the President's 15 days to slow the spread. And as the President said at the outset of his remarks, I know that millions of Americans are doing that just now, and the greatness of the American character is shining forth.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
You had a call with Senator Schumer. He says you've now agreed to invoke the Defense Production Act to actually make those medical supplies that hospitals say are in severe shortage. So two questions. Is that what you're doing now?
It is. I did it yesterday. We invoked it, I think, the day before. We signed it the evening of the day before. and invoked it yesterday. We have a lot of people working very hard to do ventilators and various other things, yes.
Using it now to tell businesses
We are
they need
using
to make ventilators, masks, respirators.
For certain things that we need, including some of the very important emergency. I would say ventilators, probably more masks to a large extent. We have millions of masks which are coming and which will be distributed to the states. The states are having a hard time getting them, so we're using the Act. The Act is very good for things like this. We have millions of masks that we've ordered. They will be here soon. We're having them shipped directly to states.
So you said you were signing this but not invoking it. This is what you said yesterday, and you would only do so in a worst case scenario. So we need that in a worst case scenario.
We need, no, it's no different other than we need certain equipment that the states are unable to get by themselves. So we're invoking it to use the powers of the federal government to help the states get things that they need, like the masks, like the ventilators. Yes, Steve?
Governor Cuomo has done in New York. Is there any more consideration to a national lockdown to keep people in their homes?
I don't think so. Essentially, you've done that in California, you've done that in New York. Those are really two hotbeds. Those are probably the two hottest of them all in terms of hotspots. I don't think so, because you go out to the Midwest, you go out to other locations, and they're watching it on television, but they don't have the same problems. They don't have, by any means, the same problem. New York, California, Miami, the governor's doing an excellent job. Governor DeSantis in Florida. We have some pretty hot spots in Florida too. But we're general, and the state of Washington, of course, but that was largely, if you look at it, it was one nursing home that had problems like you wouldn't believe. So no, we're working with the governors, and I don't think we'll ever find that necessary.
A week into your 15-day guidelines, are you happy with the progress? Would you like to see?
I am happy. I am happy with it. We'll have to see what the results are at the end of 14 days. Let's say we'll know by the 15th day to see what we do. But I'm certainly honored by the way the American people are working, because it's work. It's work not to work. This is the first time this has ever happened. And we're working out a tremendous financial package for them so they don't work. Whoever heard of this? Usually
Tom's check.
Tom's
check.
Working.
How
We're
copy?
asking people not to work. Social distancing, a new term that's become probably the hottest term there is.
Just checking. Keep your ears
I'm very
on.
honored by the way the American people are taking this, and it's so seriously. Yes, Jim?
Question for you and a question for Dr. Fauci, if I could. There's been some concern among Democrats on Capitol Hill that the phase 3 fiscal stimulus is weighted too much in favor of
Yeah, Walter.
and not enough in terms of individuals.
That was one of my questions a couple days back, Walter, when we had that guy that was a PJ in here. If you could use other things as a ventilator.
Stock buybacks. I don't want people spending.
However, you still need an innovation set, which are obviously in shortage now, unless you have it already.
And also for the company, to keep the company going, but not for buybacks. I haven't spoken to a lot of the Republicans or Democrats on it. We discussed it, and I don't like buybacks. I didn't like them the first time.
Senator Schumer.
So we're discussing that. We're discussing many things.
Are you on the same page from Senator Schumer?
We're not so far away. I'll tell you, we're not very far away.
And to Dr. Fauci, if I could. Dr. Fauci, as was explained yesterday, there has been some promise with hydroxychloroquine, this potential therapy for people who are infected with coronavirus. Is there any evidence to suggest that, as with malaria, it might be used as a prophylaxis against COVID-19?
No, the answer is no. And the evidence that you're talking about, John, is anecdotal evidence. So as the commissioner of FDA and the president mentioned yesterday, we're trying to strike a balance between making something with a potential of an effect to the American people available at the same time that we do it under the auspices of a protocol that will give us information to determine if it's truly safe and truly effective. But the information that you're referring to specifically is anecdotal. It was not done in a controlled clinical trial. So you really can't.
To Walter Davis, I'd watch that video because we have a vacuum we're not using that maybe we could do that with.
Without seeing too much, I'm probably more of a fan of that than maybe than anybody. But I'm a big fan. We'll see what happens. And we all understand what the doctor said is 100% correct. It's early. But I've seen things that are impressive. We'll see. We're going to know soon.
They brought up the lockdown a little bit.
Including safety.
The one guy says that he's all for it in New York and California, but then the president says that, well, they're not planning on doing that nationally at this time. But as I said, the one guy from New York's like, oh yeah, I think y'all should don't worry about it.
Listen to the police in your area.
Mm-hmm.
It was fairly effective on SARS.
John, you've got to be careful when you say fairly effective. It was never done in a clinical trial. They compared it to anything. It was given to individuals.
They're not mentioning the, yeah, they're not going to. Even though we know it's rolling out, I provided proof earlier today. And like I said, you want to, you can go hunt the Easter eggs out in all the other videos.
That's the reason why we showed back in Ebola why particular interventions work.
About the possible therapies yesterday, Mr. President, you said.
I mean, you'll probably see it today, Walter, if not in the middle of the night, whenever nobody's up and paying attention. It'd be who of you to go ahead and start posting Firewatch. If you have capability to, at least keep someone awake in the house at night now.
Talking to the governors about it, and the FDA is working on it right now. The advantage is that it has been prescribed.
We have confirmed cases here, guns coast to coast. So all surrounding counties.
And I will say that I am a man that comes from a very positive school when it comes to, in particular, one of these drugs. And we'll see how it works out, Peter. I'm not saying it will, but I think that.
Yeah, they're just discussing that malaria drug right now.
Well, we're going to know very soon, but we have ordered millions of units. It's being ordered from Bayer, and there is a couple of companies also that do it.
Time to implement your comms plan. I will continue on with the home security assessment checklist for you guys and gals to go ahead and implement that. By no means panic, but definitely full speed ahead on any of this information. Someone was asking earlier, sorry, I forgot who, but I'll do some videos. If you email me, I'll send you a link to some of the private stuff. Nothing lethal, of course, because I'm not going to do that. You can search that out on your own. But I will do some videos
early warning stuff.
Yeah, on some stuff that you can implement. I'm going home tonight to Pennsylvania, got to lose a bunch of guns and food in another boating accident. Yeah, definitely have a cache here, there, and everywhere. That's one plan that has been implemented a long time ago. I have caches at other places, and those people have caches at my house, so that if they need to come here or I go there, I'm not putting a burden upon them. But that should have already been pre-placed and prepared ahead of time. However, we will not be going anywhere around anyone else, so don't have to worry about that. And if they need to use my supplies, then have at it. So that goes out to all you that are watching incognito. If you have stuff that you need to use of mine, feel free to stay in and use that stuff. I've been waking up at intervals throughout the night. Now's the time to implement, for sure, a Firewatch. I forgot who reported that they're rioting in Philly. So, yeah, now would be a time to start dinging your stuff down. Don't, obviously, hopefully you've been kind of what everyone refers to as the gray man. You don't have fancy stuff. Out in the open anyways. I did see yesterday that people were buying TVs and stuff for the potential lockdown, but I also noticed as we were doing our AO, which is area observation, that people were leaving these boxes of food and all this stuff out at their trash. So be mindful of that. Don't place anything outside. break the boxes down, stack them in your backyard somewhere in a place where no one can see them. If you are putting out trash, figure out how to compost it while the internet's still up. Print out an article, go ahead and start your composting. If you don't have seeds, you can still go online and order them. Get that in the works so that you can have something. If you venture out, which I would not suggest now that it seems like it's everywhere and it's going to trend upwards, according to Rotogrow's projections and the projections of the John Hopkins thing, I would go ahead and just go ahead and lock everything down. Stay calm. Order your seeds online. Give them a 2-day waiting period because they're saying that it's not transferable by the mail or airborne. However, there has been some talk, and I won't mention names or anything, about the military and state and local governments have deployed the BID system, which is the biological indication detection system. So that to me means it may fly through the air, but I cannot confirm that. So if you have a military source that can confirm that in the nuclear NBC field, or CRBN as they call it now, please check that out and let us all know. So yeah, Walter, I thought I heard that somewhere, High Impact Vlogs, I think.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, California's already shut down. That was last night, I believe. New York City, at least, if not the whole state.
So I don't know how that works if you're on vacation there. I know some people are on vacation there from our state, so hopefully they're safe. And that's kind of a shit show. I wouldn't have went on vacation, but yeah, you'll definitely have to be in line. It is airborne, says Stan. But what's the longevity of the airborne? Like I said, the BID system, which stands for Biological Indication Detection System, has been deployed in states. That is information that you won't find anywhere else probably, but if you know someone that is in the military now, son, daughter, see if you can grab any intel. Coast to coast, check it out. Gotta get back to work. Take it easy, Walter Davis. If hopefully your son's okay. I believe he posted on a video last night talking about his son was at work, and a possible a confirmed case was where his son worked at. So Godspeed to him. Prayers to you, sir, and your family. Saw an article last month that said it is airborne for up to 3 hours. Yes. So I don't know if that's out in the natural air, like outside. So if someone could cough and it could fly through the air for 3 hours, picked up on the wind. That's unconfirmed. But in stores, yesterday when we were there, they did have the heating and air conditioning units shut down so as not to recirculate it. So I have to start my quarantine over. So, however, we are implementing ascorbate palmitate, which can still be purchased online, which is a vinyl C ester. It's more readily absorbed by the body. Elderberry, and any other antivirals, including honey and stuff like that. I'm still taking all my workout supplements, which keep you super hydrated. Still working out. While you're working out, the body is under stress, which boosts the immune system as well. In the evening, before bed, I make sure I don't eat anything an hour before bedtime, and I take ZMA, which is zinc, magnesium, and vitamin B6. We also take a B supplement, rounded B supplement. So those are things you can still get at bodybuilding.com, GNC. So if you want to implement some of that, I would get that now before that becomes scarce as well. If you do get that stuff in the mail, quarantine it for 2 days, leave it outside just in case. Airborne is good. It's off the shelves here. So now it looks like you're just going to have to treat the symptoms and boost your immunity. Heat will kill it. We need some hot days to get rid of it.
That's debatable. I've seen studies on both on sides on that one.
So
we'll see. If that's the case, I'm going to be fine.
oh yeah, because it's already been over 100 there, right?
Close, not quite yet.
Rotogirl posted up internal medicine article. For some reason, I can't click on that from the chat, so maybe over on YouTube you can. Anything interesting coming out of the president's mouth? They're asking questions now.
Yeah, I have it lowered volume just so that I can listen to what you're saying.
All right, let's go back over there real quick and see what he has to say.
All right, hold on.
And I know it's false. I know it's fake. And when they say they have 15 sources that said, and I know there's no sources. There's no sources. They're just making it up. I know that, and I call Peter out, but I call other people out too. And this is time to come together. But much harder when we have dishonest journalists. It's a very important profession that you're in. It's a profession that I think is incredible. I cherish it. But when people are dishonest, they truly do hurt our country. Yeah, in the back. Please go ahead.
China has been in communication with the United States and also WHO about coronavirus.
Right, that's right.
And the U.S. shut its border to travelers from China on February the 2nd. Also, Wuhan has been in lockdown since January the 24th. And this all happened almost 2 months ago. Why did you still say if you could have known it earlier? And also, you have been calling coronavirus.
Well, I have to say this. We have, and I can speak for myself.
Sorry, Kitty.
I have a very good relationship with China and with President Xi. I have great respect for President Xi. I consider him to be a friend of mine. It's unfortunate that this got out of control. It came from China. It got out of control. Some people are upset. I know President Xi. He loves China. He respects the United States. And I have to say, I respect China greatly, and I respect President Xi.
Well, that's some walking contradictions. I respect China greatly. I mean,
no, but
gotta save face so we don't start a war right now. We're currently sick, so we can't fight.
And when they took the money and did buybacks, that's not building a hangar. That's not buying aircraft. That's not doing the kind of things that I want them to do. And we're now talking about buybacks. We didn't think we would have had to restrict it because we thought they would have known better. But they didn't know better. In some cases, not in all cases, obviously. Some people did an incredible job. They built plants all over the country. And you'd see what's happened. I mean, we were doing, until this invisible enemy appeared, we never had an economy like this. But there were some companies that used that money to buy back stock, driving up the price of the stock artificially in many cases. I don't like that. I don't like it. And as far as whether or not we'll have that, allow them, when we give them money, because we have to keep these great companies in business because of the workers, frankly, for the most part, because of the workers. The workers are my number one concern. But the way we take care of the workers is we have to keep the companies going. I am fine with restricting buybacks. In fact, I would demand that there be no stock buybacks. I don't want them taking hundreds of millions of dollars and buying back their stock, because that does nothing. Yeah, please.
I'm over Dr. Fauci and then hopefully one for you.
And one thing, Secretary of State Pompeo is extremely busy, so if you have any question for him right now, could you do that? Because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department, you don't mind. I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question? Please. Yeah, how about you? Only for the second.
The exemptions on work travel, can you define that? Is all work, anyone with a work visa can still cross the border? Can you define the measures that you're taking?
That's a great question. We're working, we're very real concerned about H-2A visas, particularly agricultural workers that need to get across. We're going to make sure that we do everything we can to keep that part of our economic lifeblood, working between our two countries. DHS and the State Department will work together. We want to make sure and keep commerce between Canada, the United States, and Mexico alive, functional, and prepared for the day that this economy bounces back like we expected it will.
Mr. Secretary, the Mexican government has not announced any travel ban on Europe. Have you been in touch with them as to when they're going to do this and what it is that they're telling you? And then a second question, they also are telling us and said in a press conference this morning that they will not take back any non-Mexican citizen. Any other third parties will have to, we don't know what will happen to that. So can you address what will happen to those third country immigrants that you are saying that will not be allowed to enter the U.S. and Mexico is saying that they will not be allowed to stay in Mexico either or sent back from the U.S.?
I'll take the first one and then Chad, I'll give you the second one. With respect to travel into Mexico from my side, I spoke with former Minister Berard a couple of times about this. I'm very confident we're going to get to a really good place that protects the Mexican people and the American people from those who might be traveling into places where we've got designations, the Schengen zone from China, so that they're not coming into Mexico and then coming into the United States. I'm very confident we'll do that. We'll make that announcement shortly together.
Again, as we implement the CDC's order, again, we're going to take a number of individuals that cross the border illegally and repatriate them or remove them quickly back to Mexico, back to the Northern Triangle, and back to any other country. So we're going to do that in a rapid fashion. We'll continue to work with Mexico to make sure that Mexican nationals go back as well as other populations.
Sending Guatemalans back to Guatemala, Cubans back to Cuba, what would you do with those third countries that are not Mexicans?
So we're doing all of the above. We're going to be sending, again, individuals back to Mexico, individuals back to the Northern Triangle countries, Cuba, Haiti, all of again, 122 different nations that we see nationalities that come across that border. We'll be sending them back individually to their countries, but also working with Mexico to send additional populations back there as well.
And just to put it, when you said before, you said the non-Mexicans going to Mexico. We're not sending them to Mexico. We're sending them back to their own countries, not to Mexico. Why would Mexico take people that aren't from Mexico? We're sending them back. In the case of Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, a lot of other countries, they go back to the country from where they came. Okay, and please.
On the issue of disinformation, is there any particular locus for this disinformation, or is it diffused?
It's pretty diffused, unfortunately, but we've certainly seen it come from places like China and Russia and Iran, where there are coordinated efforts to disparage what America is doing in our activity to do all the things that President Trump has set in motion here.
Other than what you're doing this morning, what are you doing to fight back?
Lots of things, lots of work. One of the things we want to make sure is the American people go to trusted sources for the information. But we've made clear, we've spoken to these countries.
Spoiler alert, we're not a trusted source.
Right.
And there are a handful of other things we're engaged in to make sure that the right information is out there, accurate information is given. This idea of transparency and accurate information is very important. It's how we protect American people from something like this ever happening again.
Peace Corps volunteers. You want the American people to be coming to trusted sources of information. Does it undermine you at all when the president stands up here and he attacks news outlets calling us untrustworthy?
Peace Corps volunteers have the Peace Corps volunteers. Americans who find themselves stranded in places where there are no longer flights to get back to the United States, what efforts are being made to help them?
I appreciate that question. So we're doing lots of things. We've had a couple places in particular, Peru and Morocco. I think we've had the first 2, maybe 3 now flights out of Morocco. We're going to work to get people back. We're urging individuals when they can't get back on their own, they travel there on their own. When they can get back there on their own, they ought to try to do that. But we have a team stood up at the State Department, the Repatriation Task Force, that has worked each of these instances. So we've heard from individuals, members of Congress. We're trying to get Americans back from these places where air travel has been disrupted. And we'll get that done over time. We'll get it done successfully.
Do you have any sense of how big that problem is? Is there any sense of just how big that problem is? How many?
We don't know the full scale of it yet, but we think we have the largest number identified, and we're working with those who are watching that are someplace, and you can go on the State Department website. You can log into step.gov and go step and log in, and we'll track it, and we'll try to get everybody back as soon as we can.
How long are these border restrictions likely to last along the south and north borders?
They'll last as long as we need to do it to protect the American people from the virus. I couldn't tell you how long this can last.
Have you determined whether Iran is responsible for that rocket attack last week?
So
Maybe we shouldn't say it.
So let me just get back to you on the answer to that. And what we can
We know plenty.
what we can say with certainty is this: we've made clear all along that the Iraqi Shia militias are funded, trained, equipped by the Iranians. We've urged the Iranians not to do that. We've told the Iranians that they will be held responsible for those attacks when they threaten American lives.
So,
About
Secretary
the Peace Corps volunteers, the Peace Corps volunteers that are in 60+ countries, have they all been returned?
You know, I don't know if they're all back or not yet. I know that they were directed to come back. I know that most of them are back. I couldn't tell you if we have all of them back yet.
And then Secretary Esper's not here, but to get tests to the troops in Iraq and Afghanistan, are you able to give us a progress report on the status of that, if they're all able to get tests?
I don't know the answer to that. I know we have State Department officials too who are concerned and want to make sure we get them tests. Our team as well, and we're working on that. We've had significant success on that to date. There are a few places we've not been able to get them, but we will. We'll get them there.
how exactly are you going to get those Americans back? And do you have any plans to get the military involved in that?
We're going to use all the tools we can. These first efforts are combined commercial, private flights that will fly in, bring them back to a destination here in the United States. So we'll do that. There are some that will travel back other ways as well. And we've worked with the Department of Defense to say where there is space available, we'll be able to bring them back on those flights as well. It's a whole government effort to make sure we get them back. They're gonna help us every place they can. Secretary Nesbitt, I've talked about it a couple times.
Secretary, question on Iran again. Is there any consideration to relaxing sanctions on Iran during the coronavirus crisis?
That's a poor question. The whole world should know that humanitarian assistance into Iran is wide open. It's not sanctioned. We've offered to provide assistance to the Iranians as well. I talked with Dr. Tedros from the World Health Organization about this. We're doing everything we can to facilitate both the humanitarian assistance moving in and to make sure that financial transactions connected to that can take place as well. There is no sanction on medicines going to Iran. There's no sanctions on humanitarian assistance going into that country. They've got a terrible problem there, and we want that humanitarian medical healthcare assistance to get to the people of Iran.
The sanctions themselves, no.
We are working to do all the things we've had in place for the first 3 years here to deliver security for the American people.
They know the answer. Iran, they know the answer. Iran, the leaders, they know the answer to your question.
The President calling for the Department and the State Department at a time when thousands of diplomats are working very hard around the world to combat this pandemic.
Worked with the President for 3 years now. I know how much he values the people that work on my team. I know when I was the director of the Central Intelligence Agency how much he valued the work we did. I know that he watches our team, Dr. Brooks, all the team that's working to push back against this virus, to keep America safe. I know how much he values them.
What a good answer. Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Very true, too. Go ahead. No, behind you. Please, go ahead.
I have two questions. The first says to Secretary Pompeo. The news outlets learned that the CDC picked up that there was some sort of virus happening in Wuhan, the coronavirus happening in Wuhan as early as December. When did the CDC start letting other agencies know that there was something in China happening, that this coronavirus was happening? And then when did the whole government approach start to happen?
So I'll let the CDC or Dr. Secretary, sir, please. Yeah.
So we were alerted by some discussions that Dr. Redfield, the director of the CDC, had with Chinese colleagues on January 3rd. It's since been known that there may have been cases in December, not that we were alerted in December.
Excuse me, we'll do it in a second. Mike, yeah.
May I just have one more thing? There's been some discussion about China and what they knew and when they knew it. And I've been very critical. We need to know immediately. The world is entitled to know. The Chinese government was the first to know of this risk to the world. And that puts a special obligation to make sure that data gets to our scientists, our professionals. This is not about retribution. This matters going forward. We're in a live exercise here to get this right. We
Exercise.
Need to make sure that today the data sets are available to every country, including
So this is an experiment, is what they're saying.
made available to the whole world. It's an imperative to keep people safe.
I'm kind of more worried about the government reaction than the actual virus itself.
Yeah, Riddle Girl, I said that the other day that they knew back in November, but if they had stopped all the Chinese products coming in for the Christmas, it would have crippled the Chinese economy because everything we get is from China. So if they knew in November, that means all the stuff that they sent over through the Christmas holidays could have possibly been infected. or at least at minimal it came in that way.
Yeah, people might not buy their shit.
We need to do our jobs.
Oh yeah, nobody would have bought it. If they'd have told us in November, the president would have stopped all commerce with them, so we wouldn't have received anything from there, which would have killed our economy too, because that's when everybody goes out and buys shit.
Yep. It's frustrating. It's frustrating when you see that doesn't happen. It's enormously frustrating. We have a responsibility to tell the American people the truth, and those who are reporting on what it is we're doing and saying have an equal responsibility to report accurately.
Messages sent to countries when they're watching our
I've seen many things that the State Department be reported wildly and accurately on multiple occasions, and I have spoken to those reporters about it each and every time, and I will continue to do so.
Senator Johnson has suggested. Well, I'd rather have, if you could finish up with the Secretary.
I think I've warned
Just to report from my local area, people are already sighting in their rifles. There's gunshots everywhere now.
Oh yeah.
People are out sighting in their rifles apparently.
It's a good thing to do. Make sure it works. Make sure it's accurate. Make sure it's on.
People are breaking them out. So, I know you guys probably can't hear them, guys and gals, but people are out there sighting them in, and you can hear a gunshot from really long ways away. So, my buddy, who is a sheriff's deputy, has not reported any rioting yet, but if he does, we will be live here to tell you. So, back to the smoke blowing of the president, please.
All right.
Potentially. You don't know where it goes, but you could be talking about millions of lives. So if you look at the world, I mean, you have some very smart people in the world, you have some smart leaders in the world, and everybody's doing it the way we're doing it. I think we're doing a better job than hopefully most, if not all. We're doing a very effective job, but we'll know better in 14 or 15 days. But, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, and maybe more than that, numbers of people. And, we can bring our finances back very quickly. We can't bring the people back.
Mr. President, to follow up on that, there are millions of people out there that share that view, that say, I don't really need to shut things down. I don't really need to stay away from the stores. I can go to the beach. And those people making multiple actions exponentially, it's the difference between life and death.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think I'd like to have Anthony answer that, because to be honest, that's what he does. And we had a lot of very talented people telling us what they think we should do.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I think that's a false equivalency to compare traffic accidents with. I mean, that's totally way out. That's totally a false equivalency. When you have something that is new and it's emerging, and you really can't predict totally the impact it's going to have, and you take a look at what's going on in China, and you see what's going on right now in Italy, and what's happening in New York City, I don't think with any moral conscience you could say, why don't we just let it rip and happen and let X% of the people die? I don't understand that reasoning at all.
Okay, so Secretary of State will be leaving. Any other questions? Right in the back, please. In the back for us. Excuse me, I didn't go with you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two things. In New York, there's a doubling every day. They fear that supplies are going to run out in a matter of weeks. Yesterday, Mayor Bill de Blasio called on you to mobilize the military to deliver urgent supplies. Yesterday, he said, quote, the fate of New York City rests in the hands of one man. He is a New Yorker, and right now he is betraying the city he comes from. I've personally spoken to emergency department nurses who say that they're being told not to wear N95 masks because supplies are so low. So how do you respond to those remarks by Mayor de Blasio?
Well, I just think this, I'm not dealing with the governor, and the governor agrees with me, and I agree with him. So far, we've been very much in sync. I guess they're not agreeing with each other necessarily, but the relationship with New York, I love New York. I grew up in New York, as you probably have heard, and the relationship's been very good. And I think government and the governor have been getting along incredibly well with the federal government. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Gary Wolf, if I could. Just on illegal entries of people who are OTM, how will the turn back process work? Will they be taken to a common area and then put on a plane and sent back to northern countries or others? I mean, how would that process work?
Again, it's a public health crisis. So what we're trying to do is limit the amount of contact that we have with these individuals, not putting them in border patrol facilities, ICE detention facilities, and the like. So it's going to be very rapid. We're going to obviously take them into custody and then send them back to a port of entry or other means. So it'll be very quickly. It won't be the 6 or 7 or 10 days that we currently have. It'll be much more rapid.
OTM, will they be taken to an airfield?
That's correct. That's correct.
Absolutely.
Mr. President, the checks to Americans, the bill as proposed creates sort of tiers of checks for income. Do you believe philosophically that makes sense?
Well, I believe in a lot of things. I want to get workers money, and whichever way the best way to get it. And I want to keep the businesses open too, because without the businesses, they're not going to be getting money for very long. But we're going to be.
If there's not, or do you want to
There's
see
not. We'll do something later. I'm sure.
Wall Street analysts are predicting that unemployment numbers could skyrocket next week. By some analysts say as many as 3 million people applying for unemployment, which would be a historic number in 1 week spread. So is $1,000 check going to cut it? Is that going to be?
We're not talking about $1,000 check. We're talking about much more than that. We're also talking about doing phases. If this doesn't work, we're going to keep doing it until we get it going. And frankly, once we get the economy back, and once this enemy is defeated, the invisible enemy as I call it, once it's defeated, we get the economy back, it's going to all come back to us very quickly. It comes back very quickly. We have a tremendous economy. We do numbers like no other country has ever done before. Number 1 in the world, if you go back 2 weeks, and still obviously, but if you go back 2 weeks, number 1 in the world by far. That money comes back to us very rapidly. We want to keep it, we want to have it so that when we, not if, but when we win the war with the invisible enemy, when we win it, these companies can immediately start. Not that they have to start rebuilding, which takes a long time. Steve?
What projections for job losses in March and April are you hearing?
Well, we're looking at different numbers. We have a best case and a not best case, but the big thing is to defeat the virus. Once that virus is defeated, Steve, I think everything else falls in place very rapidly. I think you're going to have a tremendous upswing. A lot of people agree with me. If you look at your stock market geniuses, some of whom are not geniuses, but they think they are. A lot of people think that I'm right about that. But once we defeat the virus, I think you're going to have a very steep, like a rocket ship, it's going to go up and everything will be back. And I really believe we're going to be stronger than ever before. Yeah, go ahead.
On the issue of supplies, you told governors to try to find whatever supplies they have their own. But some of them are now saying when they go to try to buy them, they're being outbid by the federal government.
Well, you heard my news conference yesterday. No, that was sort of yesterday's news. No, that does happen because they want to buy supplies. We want to buy as a backup to them in case they get, and sometimes that will happen. But regardless of who gets them, when they need them, we're getting them to them. Now, we're doing the Production Act. We're doing it very much, and we have a lot of things cooking right now at a high level. Remember this. Nothing like this has ever happened before. Over 140 countries. And you have supply chains that are broken down for 2 reasons, because they can't supply that much and because people are sick and they can't be on the chain. So you have a lot of interesting things all over the world. You have supply chains that broke down because of the illness and also because of the fact, the quantity. But we're getting it ordered, we're getting it done, and if you just have to, look, some of you were at the call yesterday where I spoke with the governors, almost all of the governors, and every one of them was very impressed with what we've done. Go ahead, in the middle, please.
There are reports saying that the Labor Department has told states not to disclose their unemployment numbers. Do you agree with that?
I'd have to talk to him. I would have to talk to you.
One more clarifying question, if I could, on the DPA. I just want to be clear. Are you saying that the administration is requiring these industries to create these products, or just asking?
You know, so far we haven't had to. It's an amazing thing that happened.
So while all this is going on, you can leave it up there, Poison Stinger. They're also trying to pass a new bill, H.R. 5717, Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act of 2020. So while they're on here telling us about this and the virus, they're still trying to pass a gun bill or Gun Violence Prevention and Community Safety Act, Bill H.R. 5717. And that was just reported by Guns and Gadgets an hour ago. So while they're sitting here pumping us full of this stuff about the virus as well, they're also backdoor gun this, gun that. So
can't have a whole bunch of armed people.
Since everyone's home, you should be emailing your congressman over stuff like this too. Keep an eye out for that, because once everyone's caught up in this, nobody's paying attention to anything else. So be prepared for gun legislation to be rammed down your throat if we're not paying attention. So Guns and Gadgets, check him out, and definitely send your congressman and stuff emails saying hell no to any kind of gun control.
What specific actions
It's
is the
going very well.
administration taking? What specific actions?
We inherited an obsolete deal and we made a good thing out of it. I haven't heard that question, but go ahead.
Yeah, so first, we're making tremendous progress in terms of lab testing. Tens of thousands of tests are being done every single day, both through the CDC and the public health labs, as well as now through the private sector commercial labs. They're getting to scale, they have supplies, they have high throughput. We do hear anecdotally occasionally of, say, a public health lab or another one that has a concern about this supply or that supply. Through FEMA, we actually are standing up a laboratory task force to answer those questions. Usually it's that the lab people do not understand that there are actually alternative supplies in the marketplace that they are perfectly free to use. We've actually had to put out some common myths and truths about that. For instance, the other day, we were getting calls from governors saying, we don't have swabs, there are no swabs, there are no swabs. Our supply people went in the open marketplace and bought 200,000 swabs in the open market, and I just sent a letter to every governor sending them swabs. So some of it's just they aren't listening or checking with us about all the freedom, all the capacities out there. It's a complex system with 330 million Americans and all of these labs. So sometimes there's a lab that doesn't understand how much flexibility they have and how much supply there is out there. We're working through the new FEMA Integration Center to help correct that for folks.
Because FEMA did so good of a job everywhere else, right?
As I said, more and more tests are being performed every day. And as we learn about the results that are being reported around the country.
Everywhere else, right?
Our experts continue to look at the numbers and see that some 90% of Americans that are tested do not test positive for the coronavirus. And so it can give you a sense of the magnitude of testing that's going on. We have the number of cases that we've reported today, but it's in some cases near to 10 times that have been tested. But let me also emphasize how important it was in answering these questions for governors and local officials that the president stood up FEMA and the National Response Center, where we briefed governors yesterday. Now, every governor and their state health departments have the ability to reach out to our regional FEMA administrators. And that's how, as the president said, we're sorting out those potential conflicts between very significant federal purchases and procurements and as hospitals and state governments are purchasing as well. I think the new streamlined system operating now in all 50 states and our territories of governors and states going through their regional administrator for FEMA is going to make it more possible for us to ensure that our hospitals, our healthcare providers have access to what's available on the open market and elsewhere.
Vice President, you're the head of the task force. You've seen the numbers. You've spoken to average Americans who are former governor. What do you say to Americans right now who are watching and who are scared?
I would say, do not be afraid, be vigilant. All the experts tell us that the risk of serious illness to the average American for the coronavirus is low. But we need every American to put into practice the president's coronavirus guidelines, 15 days to slow the spread, because the coronavirus is about 3 times more contagious than the flu, according to our best estimate. And you can contract the coronavirus, have very mild symptoms, if any, not even be aware that you have it, and expose someone who is vulnerable to a very serious health outcome. That's the reason why we're encouraging people to avoid groups of more than 10, to not eat in restaurants, but to use drive-throughs, to wash their hands on a regular basis. And particularly, we're going to continue, as the president has directed us, to focus on the most vulnerable population, which are seniors with serious underlying health conditions or anyone with an underlying immunodeficiency. It's those people we need to care for, but it's going to take all of us working together to make sure they're safe.
Vice President, you just said that you haven't had to require companies to up their production of medical supplies, but you said last night you invoked the DPA.
When we need something, because of the act, when we need something, we order something. And as you know, 2 days ago, I invoked the act, which was a big step. I'm not sure that it had been done before, certainly not very much. And when we need something, we will use the act. What has happened is, before we even go out, many companies, great companies in a totally different business are willing to do things and make things, because that's what they do, they make product. They're willing to make product for us, medical product, that we need very badly for the states, that the states can't get, they haven't been able to get. And you know, most of the states, in no way did they do anything wrong. They were stocked up, they were all equipped. Unfortunately, they've never had a thing like this. So they need help from the federal government.
This is important. You haven't actually directed any companies to start making more ventilators or masks.
I have this. A lot. And they're making a lot of ventilators and they're making a lot of masks. Yeah.
Mr. President, partially following up on that, are there automakers right now who are retooling their production facilities to make ventilators or
I can't say they are, but they will be very shortly, because we're working with one in particular that wants to make ventilators. They called us yesterday and we're working on a transaction. They're gonna make ventilators. They say they've done it before, which surprised me, but they can do it very easily.
This is partially for Secretary Azar. You said yesterday that you had spoken to Carnival Corporation's chairman. Yes, and he said that he could donate some ships.
Donate. He's not giving them, he's elected to use them. I spoke with Mickey Harrison, who is the president, chairman, CEO, and owner.
And he could buy some ships to potentially be
he said to me that he was willing to, if we need ships for helping people, that Carnival would be absolutely willing to help us in Los Angeles, in New York, wherever they may be, in Miami, where they're very big. If we needed something, they would be willing to. So far, we haven't needed to, and we're bringing the big hospital ships up in California. We're working with the governor of California, as you know, with Gavin, and we haven't made a determination. We're also talking to folks who like it in Seattle. So we're discussing where it can be most useful. We've spoken with Governor Cuomo, and we're bringing the big hospital ship up in 2 weeks, and we're going to have it in New York Harbor, someplace in New York.
So my question is, one, it sounds like you haven't taken them up on it yet. But
no, I said if we need it, I'll let you know. Let's go taking them up.
And secondly,
right now we don't need it.
Ships have a lot of frequently contacted surfaces, and so this is where you come in, Secretary Azar, potentially Dr. Fauci. You have concerns about the cruise ships being used as hospitals.
Well, I can tell you they're very clean, and also those surfaces, the germ, as you know, the virus disappears over a period of time, and these ships are very clean. They've been kept very clean. They've been gone over, but the virus, as you know, if it's on a surface, for certain, they have actually charts, different kinds of surfaces. It disappears over a period of time.
Why not you so tell us?
What are you trying to get at? Go ahead.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Why not
It disappears. The virus disappears when it's on surface after a certain number of days, or in some cases hours, depending on the surface and so on. Go ahead, please.
Quick follow-up. So can you say President, can you name any of the companies that you've asked to start making these ventilators or face masks?
I will be, but first I want to get the approval from the company because I don't want to be doing that.
Okay, well,
I assume they like it, but I'll let you know.
Okay, well, thank you. And this is for Dr. Fauci.
I mean, one company that has openly stated it is General Motors.
So that's one of the, did
One of
the
the
government
companies, but
ask General Motors?
I didn't speak to them about announcing it, but I'll announce it. I'm sure they wouldn't be, but we have others also.
Thank you. And so for Dr. Fauci, there's new research out from that the CDC has released that many of the people that have, or that 13% of the people with the coronavirus got it from someone that was asymptomatic. So my question is, does that change the way the approach that should be taken? And do you think that's the case, or do you think that, or do you not agree with that?
The recommendations that are here applies to whether you're in physical contact with someone who could be infected with symptoms versus asymptomatic. I don't really think it changes anything. Certainly there is some degree of asymptomatic transmissibility. It's still not quite clear exactly what that is. But when people focus on that, I think they take their eye off the real ball, which is the things you do will mitigate against getting infected, no matter whether you're near someone who is asymptomatic or not. It's the same thing. Physical separation and the care that's outlined here is going to take care of both of those things.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a question about testing. When will every American who needs a test get a test and be able to get a test? And why not have medical equipment being shipped right now to hospitals who need it?
You're hearing very positive things about testing, and just so you understand, we don't want every American to go out and get a test. 350 million people. We don't want that. We want people that are just that have a problem, that have a problem with they're sneezing, they're sniffling, they don't feel good, they have a temperature. There are a lot of different things. You know them better than I do. So ready? We don't need that. But what we are having is we're having these private labs have come and they've been really fantastic. And we also have a great system for the future. Because as I said, we inherited, meaning this administration, an obsolete, broken system that wasn't meant for anything like this. Now we have a system that you can see, because look, we're well into this and nobody's even talking about it except for you, which doesn't surprise me.
There are Americans, though, who say that they have symptoms and they can't get tests.
Well,
What do you say to the Americans who are
I'm
saying
not
that they
hearing
have
it.
symptoms and they
But
can't
we
get
don't want everybody to go out and get a test because there's no reason for it. Yeah.
Americans who have symptoms.
We'll do one more after this.
Fauci, because Kevin Hassett is one of the people who is now suggesting that the real way to get to the end of this, for life to return to normal, is for every single person living in this country to be tested. That way you can see who is contagious, and you can then have people who don't have it go back into work. Is there any possibility that this country could ever get to a point where every single person could be tested, and how long would that take?
Thank you for the question. I've heard that before. I don't see
Any comment on that, Irish? Because it's starting to be like mind-numbing.
help you to implement this. This should be implemented universally, at least at this level for everyone.
All right, yeah, go ahead and kill that.
I want to touch on this whole gun confiscation thing. I haven't watched the Guns and Gadgets video yet. I definitely want to watch that as soon as we're done here. Because, wow. I mean, is that a national thing are we talking about? The bill?
I don't know. I just seen it pop up. I was scrolling through the live feed to see if what else was going on, and actually it looks like they've removed it from my queue, so it looks like they shadow banned it already on YouTube. So everybody is yeah, like a lot of videos that were up there are being shadow banned. Everyone make sure you have the lights out kit. Yeah, I have a cool one that I can do a video on. I haven't done one in a while on that, but we have a lights out kit that has batteries, cameras, glow sticks, cameras, and all that stuff. So, all right, well, it's at 3 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the home security assessment videos. As I get time, I will show the implementation, or at least how to make the stuff that I'm going to implement, and that I will share that with people. Unfortunately, I have to go and do some stuff now. It's my rotation time. So Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Stay frosty. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Bitches, moans, complaints, leave them in the comment section below. Stay tuned for the home security assessment stuff to follow throughout the next few days. Prayers for Walter Davis. His son is a police officer in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
He made that apparent on my thing, so I can say it out loud. Yeah, everybody stay safe. Godspeed. Semper Fi. See you guys tomorrow, or maybe this evening if the chat allow, if I have time. All right. Stay tuned.